Because you bought your robot vacuum on your Barclay card, you got 0% interest for up to 24 months, which makes watching it, hypnotically sweeping up your crumbs, even more satisfying. Oh, missed a bit. What you buy is your business. Helping you pay less interest is ours. Barclay card. Make money work for you. Subject to financial status. New customers only. Representative example, 24.9% APR representative variable, 24.9% purchase rate per annum based on £1,200 credit limit. T's and C's apply.
Max Millions, Max Millions.
Welcome to Max Millions, the casino with winnings that are in a completely different universe.
Max Millions.
Make a splash and win up to 500 free spins playing Storm to Riches. Plus dazzling daily jackpots on fluffy favourites and Big Bass Splash. Take your seat at maxmillions.com. New players only, £10 minimum deposit. Terms apply. 18 plus begambleaware.org. Please play responsibly.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard on another big day across Scottish football. 3 Premiership matches: Kilmarnock, Aberdeen, Livy, Motherwell and St Mirren, Dundee this afternoon, before a big one between Dundee United and Hearts this evening. Tomorrow it's on to Hibs against Rangers and Celtic taking on Falkirk. A big night in the Championship last night, more to come today, and in case you hadn't looked at your calendar, 2 days remaining of the transfer window. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me this afternoon you have Gordon DL, Cammy Bell and Hugh Keevins.
We have spent the whole week talking about that window, but today we're talking about a trap door, the one that leads from the Premiership to the Championship. Livy, 1 win in 23 games, rock bottom of the table, and this afternoon playing the best football team in the league, Motherwell. Relegation beckons for Davy Martindale. St Mirren, 4 wins in 23, the lowest goal scorers in the Premiership. Their top scorer is Mikael Mandron with 4. Tomorrow's February. And then we have Kilmarnock, 2 wins in 23. They've still got a very good chance of going down. Misery everywhere, Daz. I'm in my element.
Oh, you're on fire today, Hugh, I've got to say. But we got off to a great start last night. Terrific game at McDermott Park against the top 2. St Johnstone Partick, that jammy guy, Wilson, getting I knew it. I was sitting there, I had my coupon up, I was waiting in St Johnstone. But brilliant for him. Great result for Partick Thistle. Great support, good game, good advert for the Championship. It's about the Premier League now. Today, a lot of good games there, Gordon, a lot of important games. Hugh's quite right in saying how important it is for teams like Livy and to Kilmarnock to get results, both at home. Don't fancy either of them, I got to say. And then you look tomorrow, great game, Celtic, Falkirk, who will go there full of confidence, Hibs, Rangers, and I'm forgetting the league leaders against Dundee United at Tannadice tonight.
Yeah, brilliant afternoon of football ahead of us, and then we've got that game tonight. When I look at the fixtures today, I think you look at Kilmarnock desperately need a result at home against an Aberdeen team that got a fantastic result last weekend. St Mirren, Dundee, there's a lot in that as well. Dundee could go level points with their rivals, their city rivals, Dundee United today, and then that Dundee United game against Hearts. I'm looking forward to that one tonight.
Yes, so much to look forward to today, tonight, tomorrow, and over the next couple of days as well as the transfer window closes. So sit back and enjoy. It's a miserable day out there. You might as well get the feet up and let Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel and Cammy Bell and the rest of the team entertain you between now and 6 o'clock. As the show goes on, please feel free to message us whichever way you see fit and let us know what you're thinking. And then, of course, once the games are all said and done, I will give you the nod to pick up the phone and we'll chat through all the week's big talking points. So much going on because Hugh Keevins, it is a big day in the league today and tomorrow and tonight. The transfer window closes on Monday and we're just off the back of the final round of European fixtures for now, with Celtic still got more to come.
I would invite the Celtic supporters to imagine what life would look like if Martin O'Neill hadn't come up here. 6 years after managing a football club, he goes to Celtic as interim manager twice and averts disaster, and he's still trying to avert disaster domestically but upholding Celtic's name in Europe at the same time. Martin O'Neill, there ought to be a special managerial award for him at the end of the season.
Yeah, what he's achieving there is absolutely brilliant, and I think he'll be a little bit disappointed. Like, what is it, Monday? The Monday night?
11 o'clock.
I've said it for weeks and I keep saying it and I'm keeping my fingers crossed now, and I'm not even a Celtic fan. Celtic will need to get players in the building.
I'm sure we'll get to that in the not too distant future. For now, let's go around the grounds, because 3 big games, and maybe one of the first Saturdays where it feels like it is about jeopardy a little bit. Rightly so, we've given a lot of attention to the title race, but you look at these 3 games today and looking at the teams that are all at home and all needing something, it's got a big feel about it. So let's start closest to home, shall we? St Mirren against Dundee. Fraser Wishart's there.
You're right, it's all getting a bit tense around Paisley Way for St Mirren. Their up and down season so far has continued into 2026, and I think they really need to get their form and results back on track very quickly, because since that dramatic cup win that's still talked about and will be for years against Celtic in December, they've won 1 league game in 7, and that was against Livy the week after that cup win. So 2 draws, 4 defeats, and now season precariously placed. Can they get towards the teams ahead of them, or are they going to be dragged into a relegation battle? 5 points ahead of Kelly, 8 ahead of Livy, game in hand for St Mirren. It shouldn't be too bad, but I think St Mirren supporters just must be thankful for the long winless runs of the 2 teams below them, both at home today, so Saints must be aware of that. Of course, a win today just gives the team a boost, gives the whole place a boost, and brings them level with Dundee. And while defeat just increases the worries of those in black and white. Stephen Robinson has had injuries to contend with, you have to be fair to him. The likes of Ahara, Ayunga, Bacchus are all out for long periods, but he's been able to add to the squad. Campbell's come in, as have 2 from his usual market of the EFL lower leagues, in Young and in Tete, the strikers, who both start today, and they want to add more. But like all managers, I think I'll be a bit worried about losing players like Miguel Freckleton, been excellent, and Kelly and Phillips. They've both had a lot of interest from other clubs. Dundee just began to look like a settled side. Spoke to Stephen Presley, trackside there. He's just looking calm and confident as always. 2 good away wins this month against Kelly in the Cup, and the derby against United means they must come here with a bit of confidence. Front 3 of Congreve, Hay, who unfortunately for Stephen is out injured, and Ugani have provided a real goal threat and will cause problems, along with Simon Murray, who replaces Hay for the St Mirren defence. But Stephen's also been hit by injuries, being centre backs Robertson and Kumetio out for a long period. It leaves them desperate new centre back, but lots of interest in Luke Graham. But will they sell him? Well, even though they've bid's right, when they haven't got a replacement there. So a big 90 minutes ahead for St Mirren in particular. I think it'll begin to shape the remainder of their season. Will they be in a relegation battle, or can they start to look to climb the league? They've made 4 changes, Stephen Robinson. The last time out was 10 days ago. The draw against Livingston, so 4 changes. Richardson, McMenamin, John and Mandron dropped to the bench. In comes Sobawale for his first start. Tanzer, Young for his first start, and a debut for Keon Etete, who's here on loan. They line up with Shamal George in goal. Marcus Fraser playing his 250th game for St Mirren, captains the team. Richard King and Miguel Freckleton at the back. Tunmise, Sobawale, Killian Phillips, Alex Gogic, Roland Adowu and Scott Tanzer across the midfield, with Jake Young and Keon Etete as the 2 strikers. Substitutes Ryan Mullen, Jayden Richardson, Declan John, Liam Donnelly, Alan Campbell, Conor McMenamin, Jaimaro Calvin, Dan Lundulu and Mikael Mandron. 3 changes from Stephen Presley for Dundee from the loss at Ibrox last week. Out go Hay, he's injured for 3 or 4 weeks, real blow for them. Jones and Samuels dropped to the bench. formation come two debutants, Cotterill and Halliday, and the experienced Simon Murray returns up front to captain the team. They go with a 4-3-3 formation. John McCracken in goals, Bradley Halliday, Ryan Astley, Luke Graham and Dre Wright at the back, Jan Danda, Ethan Hamilton and Joel Cotterill across the middle, Cameron Congreve, Simon Murray and Tony Yogani as the strikers. Subs for Dundee: Kieran O'Hara, Ethan Ingram, Aaron Donnelly, Paul Digby, Finn Robertson and Mary Samuels, Charlie Riley, Joe Bevan and Callum Jones, and the referee today in Paisley is Nick Walsh, and the VAR is the experienced John Beaton.
Do you genuinely think St Mirren are in a relegation fight, as Stephen Robinson has said, Fraser, or is it not at that stage yet?
It's heading that way if they don't get the results correct. I know that sounds very daft, very simple, a bit cliched, but if they lose today and Kelly or Livingston pick up some points, I don't think Livingston will catch them. I think that's maybe too much of a gap, but Kilmarnock with one win are breathing heavily down the back of St Mirren as well, so they really need to start to just get a couple of wins, and if they do that, it lifts the confidence, and they might start to look at Dundee ahead of them, and maybe even Dundee United, who are not far ahead of Dundee as well. So it's just a key period, I think, in this season for St Mirren. It's been a real downturn, perhaps just after the cup win, maybe just the form is gone, the confidence is gone as well, so that comes back very quickly, but they're not in a relegation battle yet. But if they lose today and maybe in the next week or two, then I think they've got real problems heading towards the end of the season. They just can't score goals, as Hugh said earlier. Just that's their big problem. But they brought in Jake Young, signed Timmy Tetty's come in on loan. They'll have to make a big difference because they need some goals.
Every year somebody says the X team is too good to go down, and then everybody says there's no such thing as being too good to go down, and round we go. St Mirren, League Cup winners, top 6 in 3 seasons in a row. Are they seriously? I know what Fraser's saying, the arithmetic tells you. Do you think they'll be there come the end of the season?
They'll be in trouble if they don't win today. 17 goals in 22 matches. There's your explanation for why they're down among the dead men there. And Mikael Mandron, top goal scorer with 4, and he drops to the bench. For Dundee, all the incentives are there. They'll miss Hay big time, but Simon Murray's there and he's the talisman for them. If Dundee win, as Fraser said, they go equal on points with Dundee United, putting them under a bit of pressure before they play Hearts tonight. So that's a game with an awful lot of jeopardy contained within it.
St Mirren, too good to go down, or no such thing?
No, I don't think anyone's too good to go down. I think where they've got the benefit is if you look at the two teams below them, they are really, really struggling. They're having big problems. We keep saying it every week on this programme. Livingston, August the 9th, that will probably live with them all season until they get that result. They're up against it against Motherwell today. Neil McCann and Billy Dodges went in to try and make a change with Kilmarnock. It'll be interesting. That'll be a hard one against Aberdeen. If they could get something, give them a confidence booster. But I just think St Mirren, under the manager, I think they will have enough to stay up.
Yeah, I think they'll have enough to stay up, but Fraser's right, they need to turn it around very, very quickly, because if they don't, and they don't get results, certainly today, I look at that game today, they really need a positive result. If they don't get one, the pressure mounts, and again, the players will start to not believe that they can get out of this situation, because that negativity sets in, so they need to start today, need a good result.
Let's go to the two teams who definitely are in trouble. Livingston at home, the Lanarkshire Globetrotters are the visitors. David Friel will keep an eye on it.
Yeah, the Globetrotters have arrived here, Gordon, and as we've said so often in the last few months, will this be the day that Livingston finally win a Premiership match again? 175 days since August the 9th, since they beat Falkirk the second weekend of the season. They haven't won a Premiership game since. That run can't go on forever, surely it can't. However, as you said, they're facing an outstanding Motherwell team who have beaten Livy 5 times on the bounce and scored 15 goals in the process. I've actually covered both games between the two teams this season. Motherwell need the late Elijah Just goal to win 2-1 here in October, but then cruised to a 3-0 win at Fir Park in December. That was 3-0 going on 10, I think. James Bertolascu's side have been so good this season, they can move 8 points clear of Hibs with a win today and within 2 of Celtic, so a clear favourites to do that. There's huge motivation for them. As for Livy, they're rock bottom of the Premiership, lost 6-2 to Aberdeen in a crazy game last weekend. They don't score enough, they can't keep them out. However, for all that, there is a scenario today where a win could actually take them off bottom spot in goal difference if Kelly also lose at home to Aberdeen. So for all their struggles, there is a little ray of light. In terms of the transfer window, Livingston have already signed 21 players this season, a remarkable start, but they might do some more business in the last couple of days. Graham Carey left for Dunfermline this week. Moses Soho was recalled by Man City. I think that's a blow for them. He's been pretty good. In terms of Motherwell, they still hope to get Stephen Welsh back from Celtic. That's clearly all dependent on Martin O'Neill getting a centre-half in, and there's no guarantee of that, clearly. There continues to be speculation around Tawanda Maswanisi. I'll see who's in the director's box today. Blackburn Rovers are said to be looking at him now, but I think the reported £1.5 million in offer would be laughed out by Motherwell. Just go through the teams for you. Livingston have made 3 changes. Babacar Fati, Emmanuel Danso and Scott Pittman are in for Sissoko, Samson Lawal and Lewis Smith. So it's going to be a 4-3-3. Jerome Prior in goals. Back 4, Joshua Brennett, Dan Finlayson, Ryan McGowan and Babacar Fati. Midfield 3 of Danso, Scott Pittman and Macaulay Tate, with Stevie May and Conor McLaren supporting Robbie Muirhead. Subs for Livy are Smith, Kerr, Lewis Smith, Tam, Carbongolo, Silla, Wilson, Zimmerman and Lawal. As for Motherwell, just the one change from that 4-0 win over Kilmarnock last week. Johnny Katrumbis comes in for Manny Longello at left back. Sam Nicholson is also back in the Motherwell squad, and that's really good news. He's been out since last February, so he could potentially play a good part in the second half of the season. Motherwell going to line up usual 4-2-3-1 formation. Callum Ward, Tom Sparrow, Stephen O'Donnell, Paul McGinn, Johnny Katrumbis, Oscar Priestman, Lucas Fadinger, Ibrahim Said, Elijah Just, Callum Slattery and Tawanda Maswanisi. Subs for Motherwell are Connolly, Gordon, McGee, Björgolfsson, Stamatopoulos, Nicholson, Ross, McAllister and Longello. The referee at the home of the Setfair Arena is Stephen McLean, and VAR is Andrew Dallas.
Looking forward to it. I'm sure we could get to Maswanisi and some others when we discuss the transfer window in the not too distant future, so we'll leave David for now. Kilmarnock against Aberdeen. There is a lot going on there. Roger Hannett.
Yeah, Gordon, you used a good word, jeopardy, at the top of the show, and there's jeopardy at either end of the top 6 for this pair. Kilmarnock 11th place, just 3 points ahead of Livingston, and Aberdeen in 7th. But quite a big 5 points adrift of Falkirk in that chase for the final position in the top 6. Both have made significant moves in the transfer market in January. Kelly signed 3 players last night. They all start on the bench today. They finally landed Finlay Curtis on loan from Rangers. They've also signed striker Joe Hugel from Manchester United on an 18-month permanent deal. And they've landed Nicky Klashenko, a Dublin-born Moldovan international winger, on a similar length of permanent contract. As I say, they're all on the bench. There are starts though for goalkeeper Kellerus against his former club, and also a start for the 5th of Kelly's midwinter recruits, Michael Schunning-Larsen, who will play at right back with Lewis Mayo injured and Tom Lowry suspended. The Dons also have their suspension issues, with Jack Milne banned after his red card against Livy last week. That means a debut for former Celtic and Bayern Munich centre-back Liam Morrison, who's on loan from QPR. Lyle Cameron, on loan from Rangers, also starts. Tausi Olasanya and Per-Christian Brathwaite are in the bench, but Afiz Arimu, a Nigerian midfielder signed this week from Kaiserslautern, isn't involved. He's still awaiting his visa. Aberdeen won here in October. They came from behind to beat Killian Pittodrie in December. Jimmy Tulane and Stuart Kettlewell in the dugouts for those games. Kettlewell axed the day after that loss at Pittodrie. So it's Peter Leven and Neil McCann in charge. Leven back-to-back wins over Wraith Rovers and Livingston. I don't think he's in the frame for the job. We expect a new manager to be in place potentially for either the Celtic game at Pittodrie on Wednesday night or a crucial Scottish Cup game against Motherwell at Pittodrie next Saturday night. McCann, the other gaffer, he's still searching for his first win as manager. Kelly's cursed record now standing at 16 league games without a win. It's their worst run in the league since 1980-81, and it's actually 17 in all competitions if you throw in that Scottish Cup defeat to Dundee a couple of weeks ago. They make 3 changes from the 4-0 defeat at Motherwell last week. Mayo's injured, Lowry suspended, Marcus Dackers drops to the bench. In come Schunning-Larsen. David Watson is free from suspension, and former Dons ace Bruce Anderson leads the attack. So it's Kellerus in goal. It's a back 4, Michael Schunning-Larsen, Ethan Brown, Robbie Dees and Tom Thompson. In the midfield, David Watson, Brad Lyons, Liam Polworth and Greg Kiltie. And up top, Tyrese John Jules and Bruce Anderson. On the bench, Williams, McKenzie and Dackers, Stanger, Thompson and Curtis, Klashenko, Hugel and Max Stryek, the goalie, back in the squad for the first time in 4 months after heart surgery, and that will lift the spirits of everyone here at Kilmarnock. Aberdeen make one change. It's that enforced with at the back after the 6-2 win against Livy. Morrison in for Milne. So it's Dimitar Mitov in goal at the back, Nicky Devlin, Mads Knuster, Liam Morrison and Mitchell Frame. Then Graham Shinnie will anchor the midfield. In front of him, Kenan Bilalovic, Lyle Cameron, Stuart Armstrong and Topi Keskinen, with Kevin Nisbet in attack. On the bench, Brathwaite, Nielsen and Clarkson, Milanovic, Olusanya and Lazetic, Jensen, Lobin and Kjartansson. The referee is Lloyd Wilson. The VAR is Greg Aiken. And Gordon, there may be jeopardy on all sides down here, but all anyone is asking me How's Hugh's moustache looking?
It's in its infancy, I would say. Is that fair?
Yeah. It's a work in progress.
You heard this?
You're not going to a moustache.
Yes.
I came in here.
Where
I
is it?
came in here in 1985 with a moustache.
Yeah.
And we're about to leave here and go to the city centre. I'm going out of here with a moustache.
So he's marking Clyde
When
one.
are we leaving in about 5 year time? Because that ain't looking good, mate.
He's just
I'll
started.
bring you a felt tip pen in.
He's just started.
Is it?
But we're moving building, obviously, and he's going to mark it with a tash.
I love
apparently.
that. I love
know.
that.
I like the way his mind works. Sometimes, I don't always like the way his mind works. But funny, someone messaged me this morning and said, was that Hugh announcing his retirement last night? I think it said going out with a moustache. I said, no, we're moving building, and he's going to go with a big Mauser.
I love that, Hugh. I think that's brilliant.
Why don't you join him?
Right, I come in here 15 years ago with a big beak, and I'm leaving with a big beak.
I thought you were going to say I came in here with a head full of Just for Men, and I'm going to leave with a head full of Just for Men. We'll move on. The game of the weekend was in the Championship last night, wasn't it? Let's be honest, and I'm sure we can reflect on it. Our old pal Mark Wilson and Partick Thistle, a very late equaliser at St Johnstone, but the teams below that then looking to try and put pressure on Ayr United against Raith Rovers is our featured Championship game, and Alison McConnell is there.
Well, Gordon, just as you mentioned there at the top of the show, the Championship, it never disappoints in terms of intrigue and excitement, as we saw last night. So here's hoping we have similar drama here as Ayr take on Raith Rovers. This is an Ayr side still on the hunt for their first league win of 2026, and if they're going to get it this afternoon, then it will be with Scott Brown watching on from the stands after he was sent off at Firhill in that defeat last weekend. That loss, of course, it nudged Ayr out of the playoff place, and it really couldn't be tighter between these two this afternoon as they jostle to push their way back in to playoff contention. And a win for Raith Rovers this afternoon, and they won here earlier in the season, it would enable them to leapfrog Ayr, albeit that Dougie Emery's side have played one game more. I think Scott Brown's side, they were probably always something of a dark horse this season when it came to promotion from the Championship. However, just one win from their last 6 league games has seen them slide down into 5th spot, and it's maybe just brought a little bit of pressure on Scott Brown. Too many draws, that's been their issue so far this season, and an inability to turn 1 point into 3, and it means that Ayr and Morton boast that inauspicious record of having the most draws in the Championship so far this term. They should though go into this one with fresh legs. Their midweek KDM Evolution tie against St Johnstone was called off, whereas the opponents today, they were in action this week. They needed penalties to see off Queen's Park and progress in the Challenge Cup. Josh Ray was a hero in that shootout with a couple of saves to send them through. And speaking of goalkeepers, they'd have signed 21-year-old stopper Max Thompson on loan from Newcastle until the end of the season, and the former England under-21 international goes straight into the starting lineup for today's game. He's one of 3 changes for Scott Brown's side. He comes in for Liam Russell, while Liam Dick and Curtis Main also come in for Marco Roos and Jude Bonner. So looks like a 3-5-2 for Ayr. Thompson in goal, and in a back 3 of Leon King, Kevin Holt and Liam Dick, George Finney, Ben Dempsey, Stuart Bannigan, Mark McKenzie and Scott McMahon, and then Curtis Main and Anton Dowds up top. For the visitors this afternoon, 3 changes too from that midweek cup tie. Josh Ray still in goals, a back 5 I think of Jordan Docherty, Darrell O'Connor, Jay Rowe, Paul Hanlon and Ewan Wilson. A midfield 3 of Josh Mullen, Scott Brown and Dylan Easton, with Jack Hamilton and Andy Winter up front. And the referee this afternoon is Ross Hardy.
Loads to look forward to on the pitch, but every single game today set against the backdrop of the closing stages of the transfer window. We'll take a look at that story when we return.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls.
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history.
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
The scene is set with your team news from our 4 featured 3 o'clock games. Regular listeners will know we use this section of the show to look at the week's biggest talking points, and this week, like the one before it, and the one before that, and the one before that, has all been about the January transfer window. We're going to cover off a few clubs here, but there's obviously only one place to start, as there has been all month, Hugh. Now it's 2 days to go. We've marked it every day. It is 2. Will Celtic get it done? What will it look like?
My favourite call to Super Scoreboard, perhaps of all time,
what's high praise,
was the man who came on last night and said, "This is a masterstroke." Not signing players before the final day of the window is a masterstroke. Now, if you have to defend Celtic by making yourself look and sound idiotic, then you have to examine yourself. This is not a masterstroke. Martin O'Neill has been hung out to dry by Dermot Desmond and the Celtic board. It is a farce.
Right, Chvanchara is in, Arujo is in, they've been in for a while. What's next, David Friel? You work on this sort of stuff on a daily basis. Martin O'Neill was making positive noises on Thursday night. Those positive noises were added to by Sean Maloney yesterday when he took his turn at speaking to the media. 2 days to go.
I've actually just googled the opposite of masterstroke, Gordon. What's next? I think Celtic are in a scramble, to be perfectly honest with you. It's quite incredible. We're now January 31st. Celtic have only signed those 2 loan players. Martin O'Neill did make positive noises. He didn't knock down Fares Gamedes and Damir Redzic, but the Frosinone winger is actually playing right now in Serie B, so that move clearly isn't imminent. And if Celtic do want to sign him in the next 24-48 hours, they're probably going to have to spend £7 or £8 million. Damir Redzic is also playing today. He's on the bench for his team, Danaska Streda. They've got a friendly today as well. Again, that doesn't look imminent. Celtic are still chasing a number 9, they're still chasing a centre half as well. I think Martin O'Neill ideally would probably want 4 players. I'd be amazed if he gets that. And as I said right at the start, I feel as if Celtic history is repeating itself. I heard Hugh say last night it's Groundhog Day in February 2nd, but I think for Celtic it looks as if it's the same old story in a transfer window, leaving it all very, very late. And I would be amazed right now if they get the deals that Martin O'Neill really hoped for the day he walked back into the place Wilfred Nancy.
Roger Hanna, what do you think they will get? I've got visions of a sudden upturn in viewing figures for Frosinone games from the west of Scotland, where someone in a server room somewhere asks what's going on here, because everyone's tuning in to see if he waves goodbye to the fans at the end of the game. So do you think if we're talking about those 2 wingers, and Martin O'Neill said it was more likely one than the other, David's just mentioned a centre back and a striker, those 2 departments seem quite quiet at this late stage, did they not?
Yeah, very much so. I think Sean Maloney raised the stakes yesterday when he mentioned getting 3 players in. I think a lot of Celtic fans would be surprised if 1 came in. Celtic just seem to compound every transfer window error in the next transfer window. They made an awful hash of it in the summer. Don't take my word for it, just go back and listen to Brendan Rodgers. They were scrambling about and get Kelechi Iheanacho after the window had closed, Gordon. So don't rule out something like that happening on Tuesday. You know, if you're on the show on Tuesday night, Celtic trying to get free agent players, because yet again they've made a hash of it. I cannot honestly believe, I mean, we do shows every Saturday. I do show we in a Monday night with Andy, and all through the window we've said, yeah, you know, they'll get somebody in, they'll get somebody in, yeah, somebody will come in soon. And quite simply they haven't. 2 loan signings, one of which was agreed before Martin O'Neill come back. Thomas Kvankara, the only one who's come in under the watch of Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney, and it is quite staggering. You know, I'm here, I'd said at the top of the show there, Kilmarnock 5 signings, Aberdeen 5 signings, Rangers 3 signings. You could, you know, can't even remember how many Hearts have got. Celtic seem to make signing footballers look far, far harder than it really is.
But Alison McConnell, Sean Maloney said yesterday, you know, part of that is there's a very specific profile that they want, and they don't want just squad fillers, and they want players that are definitely going to go in, and he's very happy with the 2 that are in already. As we've covered, both the 2 main members of the management team still sound confident and still sound positive at this late stage. What do you think the next 2 days has in store?
I'd be amazed if Celtic get in what they want. I think both Sean Maloney and Martin O'Neill have made it clear that they expect 2, possibly 3 signings coming in. Whether or not, when you look at today's circumstances around the players that they've been linked with, those come to fruition. I just can't see it. I think why it gets to this stage in a window and Celtic are chaotic in trying to bring players in is baffling, and I think all the more so. I think the chaos around it is compounded by the fact that the last window was so toxic when it closed around the club and everything that it gave rise to, that everyone assumed the interim months, the last 3 or 4 months, would have been spent gearing up towards this window in order that you hit the ground running, that the window opened and you had identified set targets that you wanted to come in. I fully take the point. You don't want to bring in players simply for the sake of it. You look at Celtic's squad, it's quite clear they need to bring in some quality. They need to recruit players who are first team ready, who can go in and hit the ground running. In that sense, you don't have one list of targets for one set position. You have a number of targets and you work your way down the list in order that you bring in what you want. The fact that that hasn't happened, I think, just compounds the frustration around the club, frustrations that have bubbled for months and months on end, and why you get to the final 48 hours of a window and find yourself in this position points to repeated failures, and it points to structural failures behind the scenes.
That structure is an important point, Fraser. Again, there will be a bit of mitigation in the fact that the structure's changed. Paul Tisdale presumably was not considered to be doing a good job. That's why he's no longer in position. He then obviously didn't leave much behind to act upon, otherwise, players would have been in. Martin O'Neill always speaks about how he wasn't thinking about signing players when he was enjoying his new year. So look, there'll be a bit of mitigation, but at the end of the day, Celtic fans want end results. What about, there does seem to be an apparent willingness at least to spend money. David spoke about what do you make of that, given that Martin O'Neill presumably won't be there next season and so on? Everyone thought they were just going to get loans, but now it looks like they are at least going to try and buy someone.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's structural, and it's amazing how 1 or 2 decisions can cause problems further down the line. And in January, it's not particularly about this window as such. It's to do with the decisions that are made earlier on in the season. I think when you bring in Wilfred Nancy, who in his interview I presume said, this is the way I'm going to play, so Celtic say great, brilliant, so Paul Tisdale starts to look at players for January. Then Wilfred Nancy's out the door, and all of a sudden the list for 3-4-3 players is changed. Martin O'Neill comes in, he's got a certain player as well, and then of course, is he going to be there next year? Does that affect how a player or an agent might look at it and say, well, I might sign for Celtic and Martin O'Neill likes me, and a new manager comes in and I'm stuck? People know they've got a huge squad, and I think it's about quality, because quantity in terms of numbers they've signed, I mean, they signed the best part of 23-24 players in the last 18 months. They spent about 40-50 million. That's not the problem. It's how do you bring in better, and that's difficult in this window if you're not prepared in advance. And if you're now looking at players when Martin O'Neill comes in, then that causes you a problem, because signing players at this time of the window, are you going to get players that are playing regularly, playing really well for the teams? Maybe and maybe not. You might have to play top dollar, play above market rate, pay more in salaries. But also those clubs, it's a bit like buying a house, there's a chain there. They want to make sure they're not left short, so they have a replacement in place. So one transfer in a chain of 4 or 5 fails, the rest fail as well. So it's a really tough one for Celtic, and I totally get what the supporters are saying, but the board will be trying to say, we'll try to bring in better than we've got. There's no point in bringing in another £2 million right winger that's going to be third choice. They've got to bring in more quality, and that will be the key, and we'll see on Monday night where we stand. But certainly it doesn't look great for Celtic at the moment.
What do you think Rangers will do, Roger Hannah? Because they got praise from their fans for doing some business early, but I now detect a slight anxiety there of everyone feels like they need a striker, and so in that regard, they've got 2 days left to address that. Will they get one? Who will it be? What will it look like?
I think the favourite is still Ryan Nadiri. Hansa Rostock is currently playing in Bundesliga 2. I think they're losing 3-0 at home to Ingolstadt, so he could do with a goal this afternoon. I think he would be favourite. I was talking Germany this morning that if a deal can be done, and I think people still feel a deal can be done, it might involve Nadiri even going back and playing the second half of the season on loan with Hansa Rostock, so I don't know how that would work. Cameron Archer of Southampton, I think he's one that's been offered to the club as a potential loan. We've spoken a few times about Joel Peru at Leeds. I'm not sure the player wants to come up. So, Danilo would like a striker in. If it doesn't happen, then Danilo simply won't be allowed to go to either Paphos or NEC Nijmegen, and he would just go with Chermiti Mijovski and Danilo, I think. There was talk again in Scandinavia this morning about a potential bid for the Hacken midfielder Silas Andersson. I think Danilo's spoken when Connor Barron's injury absence was confirmed that he might want another central midfielder. Anderson looks as if he might be the one they go with. But Danny Rose said on Thursday night, if he has to go with the squad that he's got, one that's been bolstered by Skov Olsen and Chukwuani and Romans during this window, he'd be happy to do so. And I think that was probably shown yesterday when he allowed Finlay Curtis to come down here to Kilmarnock on loan.
What did you make of that? I'm actually fascinated to see if he plays today, because the schedule doesn't usually allow anyone to play Thursday and Saturday, but Finlay Curtis might do that. I've seen a few Rangers fans last night saying not quite sure they would have let him go.
It was interesting that Danny Rose quotes after the game in Portugal on Thursday night when he said, they had a chat with Finlay Curtis a couple of weeks ago. He's responded really well. His mindset, his attitude are terrific. But the big thing for him is minutes. And when you've already got Gassama and Mikey Moore there, and you add Andreas Skov Olsen to the mix, like Nadim Bajrami still there as well, Gordon, it would probably have limited the minutes that Finlay Curtis would get at Rangers in the second half of the season. So he's on the bench today along with the other two players Kelly signed last night. I would imagine you would see him playing some football for Kilmarnock today, and I think he will be a regular this season, because if there's one thing this Kilmarnock team needs, it's a bit of pace and creativity.
One of the biggest moves of the window has been Kieran Bowie, because his name's been mentioned right throughout it. Celtic, Rangers putting the kind of 2 and 2 together, that they both need a striker, trying to look at what's on your own doorstep. What did you make of the fee that Hibs got, David? Did they do well to get that fee?
I think they did, yeah. I think credit to the Hibs hierarchy. I think it was Malcolm Mackay was fully behind that deal 18 months ago when they brought him up, and I think, what was it, £700,000 they paid for him. And I think at the time people were kind of raising eyebrows at taking that kind of money on a pretty kind of, I'm not saying unknown striker, but someone who maybe hadn't hit the heights expected. But I think it's been a sound investment. They've got good money. I think it's a great move for him. I love to see the young Scottish players, like so many have done, Lewis Ferguson, Alan Hickey, Lennon Miller, go and broaden the horizons. Look at the two at Napoli as well, and I think Kieran Bowie will become a better player. I think it's a good deal for Hibs. And we speak about making transfers quickly. I mean, Hibs didn't waste any time bringing in Dane Scarlett on loan from Spurs yesterday. I think it's a really good signing as well. He'll fit the bill and take Bowie's place until the end of the season and let them plan a bit more long term. But yeah, I think it's a good move for him. Obviously Verona are struggling in Serie A, so he is going to a different type of football and a different type of challenge over there. But I think it's a great move for him, great move for his family, and I am sure he will go on to bigger and better things in the future.
Yeah, again, I look at the deal and I think it's an unbelievable deal for Hibs. I think they've won a watch. I think they've dealt at the right time, and I think all the Hibs fans have accepted it as well. They're realistic. £6-7 million is a lot of money, especially we speak about the time that he's been at the club, the money that he's came in for. Again, his goal returns has been okay. I wouldn't say it's been outstanding. He's a good player and he's got a lot of potential, but when that money gets put in front of you, you absolutely need to take it, and I think full credit to Hibs for getting that.
I totally agree with the boys. I think it's a fantastic move for Hibs and for the boy. Obviously going over there, different style of football, everything about it, new venture for him. I don't know how he'll do. I looked at with Celtic or with teams like Rangers, the top two here, that can afford to go and get players like that. They didn't really fancy him. I didn't. If I was Scottish football, I wouldn't have paid £6 million for him. I'm going to be honest with you, but when an Italian team comes, offers that sort of money, then Hibs would have been foolish not to take it. It's great business.
Fraser, can there be a knock-on effect? Should we all celebrate this, in a collective way in Scottish football, rather than saying he's not worth that? He is worth it because someone paid that for him, and maybe that helps everybody, start trying to kind of drive prices up and get more money in.
Yeah, I think you've seen that in the recent years. I think you've seen prices been going on the up. One of the days of selling players for £500,000. Clubs will get millions now for their players, and I think that's only good for the game if it's reinvested in our game. I don't know whether spending money in transfer fees for the players abroad then is good for our game. But I was listening to Daz there. I was thinking exactly the same as Daz. I wonder how Rangers and Celtic fans, and maybe there's one for the phone in, would have felt, especially Celtic, criticising their boards right, left and centre, if they paid £6 or £7 million for Kieran Bowie. So is it just about the amount, or is it who it is, or whatever? If he'd been a foreign player and he'd £6 or £7 million, he'd probably get far more time. But it's a lot of money, and good luck to the lads. I think it's a great move for him to go to the next stage of his career, and it's a brilliant deal for Hibs. If they've got that kind of money straight up with add-ons, that's a fantastic deal for Hibernian, I have to say. OK, let's knock the transfer window talk on the head for now. We'll probably do it again in about 4 minutes time. We'll go back around the grounds and build up to the 3 o'clock games when we return.
The winning team all season long. is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Just under 15 minutes to go until the 3 o'clock games get underway across the country. We've got 3 featured Premiership matches. Let's go back to the home of the Set Fair Arena to loosely touch on the transfer window discussion and link it back to today. David, let's elaborate a bit more on Tawanda Maswanisi. I feel bad that he got left out of the previous discussion. Him and Kieran Bowie have been the biggest domestic names for us, really, in terms of will they go, how much are they worth, would Celtic or Rangers take a look? You mentioned Blackburn, the fee looks very small if the reports are true, 1.5 million. Do you think he will still be a Motherwell player come Monday at 11:01?
Yeah, I would imagine he would, unless someone comes in with a crazy offer. I've been really impressed with the way Jens Bertalascu's dealt with the whole situation in terms of the speculation around him. Look, he scored a lot of goals. He is a player who has got such a bright future ahead of him. He's a prized asset for Motherwell. I think if Motherwell want to have the special season that the manager keeps talking about, then they need to keep him. And I think the key part of this is that Motherwell don't need to sell. You know, I think, as I said, it would take something really, really special. I'm not saying it would take the 6 million that Hibs got for Kieran Bowie, but I don't think you would get any. You might get his left leg for 1.5 million, but yeah, I think Motherwell, I think you would probably be starting them with a 4 if they're going to part with him in the last 48 hours. But I don't get any sense, even arriving here today, chatting to somebody behind the scenes about the whole thing, and I don't get any sense that Motherwell would like to are going to entertain any bids at all unless it's crazy. So I would imagine that he does stay. Just to stick up for my fellow Motherwell citizens, because I know that all the talk around Celtic's transfer business is around who comes in, would Motherwell have hoped to have sort of had an answer on Stephen Welsh by now? And a second question on that, what do you make of the fact that Celtic now potentially give him back on loan to Motherwell, and Motherwell are pretty close to them in the table? Yeah, I know. You wonder if that will get factored into things. Yeah, I feel really sorry for Stephen Welsh, to be honest with you, because he is almost the innocent bystander in all of this. He was brought back because Celtic couldn't get a centre-half in at that time, and I would imagine it's probably a really frustrating situation for him. He will be needed tomorrow in some capacity. I would expect Dane Murray to start next to Liam Scales with Austin Trusty suspended, but you would imagine Stephen Welsh is on the bench for Celtic tomorrow. Yeah, I feel for him. I would imagine if Celtic can get this centre-half in that Martin O'Neill wants, he wants a right-sided centre-half, he wants an imposing figure, then he will be allowed to go back. But yeah, it's a really difficult situation for him because he was playing so well, he was playing every week, there was talk of a Scotland call-up. That's kind of stalled a little bit, so you only hope for Stephen Welsh's sake that if he does go back to Motherwell that he can pick up from where he left off from. But yeah, I feel for him in this situation. Right, building up to kick off between Livy and Motherwell, Kilmarnock Aberdeen. We said earlier on in the window, Roger, Aberdeen have been making signings despite the fact they don't have a manager. Now they've been loans mostly, but they do have a sporting director of football. That is what allows you to do that. You have that continuity. It doesn't need to be the manager. What's going to happen there, do you think? Peter leaving, has he got a chance?
I actually don't think he has got a chance. You listen to the mood music around Pittodrie, I think that Lutz Pfannenstiel will be looking for a manager with a bit more experience than Peter Leavin. It wouldn't surprise me if he was looking continentally again. If he was looking for guys in the doorstep, Gordon, you turn to John McGlynn or Stephen Robinson, don't you? And you don't take this length of time to do so. So I would anticipate it would be someone from overseas who would come in and get the Aberdeen job. But they know they've got a safe pair of hands in Peter Lever. I think this is the third time he's been caretaker at Pittodrie. The results have been fine. They've got through in the Cup against Wraith Rovers. They had that big 6-goal win against Livingston. I think it was the first time they'd scored 6 goals at Pittodrie in about 9 years. But the next 7 or 8 days will potentially define the season. You know, if they have a bad result today and they're further away from the top 6, it will be a major setback. And Celtic at Pittodrie on Wednesday night is always a huge encounter for Aberdeen fans, and the biggest of them all is your brave boys Motherwell going there next Saturday night. If Aberdeen were to lose their grip on that Scottish Cup they fought so hard to win last May, and their season was just to sort of dwindle away, I think that would be a huge blow for the club, particularly when you think of the money that Dave Cormack has put in.
There's a much repeated phrase that whichever team has the strongest transfer window at the top wins the league. What about at the bottom? Roger, Kelly have clearly seen issues that needed addressed. I suppose that's part of a managerial recruitment process. You can't recruit Neil McCann in December and say you're not getting any new players in January. So Do you think they've done enough or will do enough that it can turn their fortunes around?
It's difficult to say. Can they get to St Mirren? I heard you asking Fraser or St Mirren in a relegation fight. You have to think they are, because they're the closest team to Kilmarnock, and they'll be the team that Kilmarnock are looking up towards. Have they done enough? I don't know. The goalkeeper on paper, Keller looked like a good signing, an experienced goalkeeper, experience of this league as well, and then he threw one in his debut. They signed Michael Schoening, Larson and Stoney, an international fullback. He plays today, but the ones he really want were the attack-minded players, and he got 3 of them last night. Finlay Curtis, you know what Finlay Curtis will bring to the team here, but Nicky Klashenko, a Moldovan international winger on the other side, and Joe Hugel. It sounds glamorous. They've signed a striker from Manchester United in a permanent deal, but the first half of the season, Joe Hugel played 6 games for Barnet and didn't score a goal, so that's why he's ended up here. So it will be very much a work in progress at Kilmarnock. Have they done enough to get back close to St Mirren? I think the best option for Kilmarnock this season might be yet another playoff and take your chances against whoever it is, whether it's St Johnstone or Mark Wilson's Partick.
He's a Man United striker, and don't you try and change it. How cruel is that of Roger Hannah?
Perfectly correct.
Poor boy's got it in his CV.
I know what blazer I would be wearing around about Glasgow area.
There's only one reason you go from Manchester United via Barnet to Kilmarnock: because you're hopeless.
Don't mean to be cynical, but see if he's out socialising in Kilmarnock or Glasgow tonight, he's telling people he signed for Man United, isn't he? Come on, that's 100%. That's allowed. Fraser Wishart, you mentioned Killian Phillips and others earlier. St Mirren maybe not having a brilliant season, but he would still go down as a player they can't afford to lose, surely?
Yes, I think so, but the problem for St Mirren is, even when the window closed on Monday, the MLS window's open until March 26th, and you remember last year they sold Toyosi Olasanya around about that point because his contract was running out, and he went, I think, to Houston for $250,000. So even though the UK, Scottish windows closed, or all European windows, the American one's still open, so there could be more pressure if there's a bid comes in, and then at that point Stephen Robinson can't replace him, and I think that's the problems that clubs at this level face. Miguel Freckleton's another one. Stephen Robinson spoke openly of interest in him, and I think he's been excellent so far. He's brought in a couple of players, but Roger's talking about players not scoring a goal and getting a move to Kilmarnock. When you're at St Mirren or Kilmarnock or Dundee, you're looking at the lower leagues now in England. And Jake Young was playing with Stevenage, or not getting a game with Stevenage, and he signed a permanent contract with St Mirren. Keon Etete was on loan to Rotherham, 11 games a striker, no goals. Don't get players who have scored 10 goals and are playing regularly down at that level as well, so it's going to take them some time to settle in, and it's almost a bit of a gamble at this stage of the season for clubs in the lower half of a Premiership when they're signing players from England. So from Stephen Robinson's point of view, he'll want another 1 or 2 in, I would think. Certainly a midfield player, a guy called Ed Francis, again not getting a game extra, so he turned down a loan move for some reason, which was strange. So he'll want at least 1 or 2 players in, and he'll hope that Freckleton and Phillips are still here, but then we'll talk to Phillips until March. So a real key period for teams at this level, and a really worrying and busy weekend for managers and chief execs at this level.
OK, let's leave it there then, because all the talk of transfers will need to wait for 90 minutes at least. Some big games across the country today. Of course, we have our 3 featured Premiership matches before Hearts hopefully beat the weather and go to Tannadice later on this evening. Big games tomorrow. We've got a featured Championship game today as well, and we'll keep an eye on all the big scores, everything you need to know, and it all kicks off next.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. The top team are round the grounds, and we've got a fantastic fixture card to look forward to put you in the mood. Come on then, you 3. We've got 4 featured matches. What's your make-believe, hypothetical, no stakes ACCA looking like?
I'll take St Mirren to finally do something and beat Dundee, Motherwell to show they're the best team in the league and beat Livy, Aberdeen to beat Kilmarnock, and Alison will watch Wraith Rovers beat Ayr.
Big shout.
I'm going to go a draw, St Mirren Dundee, an away win for Motherwell, a draw Kilmarnock and Aberdeen, and another draw Ayr United Wraith.
I'm going Dundee away to St Mirren, I'm going Motherwell away, I'm going Kilmarnock Aberdeen draw, and I'm going Ayr United to beat Wraith Rovers.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
We always miss it, we forget. The schedule gets the better of us, but we really should have sent you along with Alison. Imagine, I mean, Alison's came on the show for the first time last week. So good we had her back again. Can you imagine what she would think of the reception you would get between Ayr and Wraith?
Oh no, it would have been too much for Alison to sort of chaperone.
She'd be a bodyguard,
exactly.
come reporter.
Security, stay away from them, both sides.
Selfies, autographs,
half-time draw.
Walk
out with the ball with the teams.
I'd love to see that.
You know what I mean? Mascot with my wee shorts on, holding
what
both
you get
hands.
You get hostility, abuse, unrest, booing, insurrection, possibly a call for the police. That's what you'd get.
Why would I get that when I was absolutely brilliant for both?
Because they had their centurion, they wouldn't even invite you.
That's true. Big chance for Livy early on. Wow. He should score, but it's a great stop from Callum Ward, who is maybe gone under the radar because all of Motherwell's possession players get all the credit, but after a ropey start the goalie's been really good. He's got 9 home clean sheets in a row, and he's been really impressive, so it's a good save from McLennan. I do it every week. I need to admit, so usually I would just try and be professional on here, but it is getting the better of me. Livy are at the bottom.
Yep.
They cannot buy a win.
I think he'll be
you get nervous, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
You get really nervous.
I just don't. There just has to be a sting in the tail at some point.
They've got to win sometime.
Yeah, Livy need to win at some point.
Well, they've been saying that since August.
Aye, but not against a high-flying Motherwell. Not for me.
I hope you're right.
I think the fact that Motherwell can go within 2 points of Celtic tonight if they win is a massive incentive for them, that puts Celtic under a bit of pressure tomorrow against Falkirk.
You're right in mentioning Ward, though. For me, probably looking at goalkeepers in the league this season, he's got to be up there with one of the top performers for me. I think he's been very, very good. As you mentioned, they had a little bit of a ropey start and everyone was unsure, signed that new contract, and he's really kicked on. He's been excellent.
Because the thing about this ongoing debate about modern goalies and with their feet is people only really notice it when it goes wrong, and it's incredible it's February tomorrow, and the one time against the other best pressing team in the league, or they used to be at Celtic Park, once that was literally it. He played out, got caught one solitary time, but see the rest of the games when his kicking is a real key part of what the team does, it's almost like nobody really notices.
Again, you're absolutely bang on, because everyone looks at that one mistake, and there's high pressure for goalkeepers when you play out, and again he starts all these attacks for Motherwell. He's such an important player, but what I would say is he made a couple of mistakes where he dropped. I remember at Hearts he could have done better with a couple of goals,
dropped across,
and they were all in close succession, so he's done really well to turn it around, because I think he's a fantastic shot stopper as well.
We mentioned that Livy had started well.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Bittersweet this for the Motherwell fans. It's 1-0 and it's Tawanda Maswanise. But do you want them to have a quiet afternoon? The transfer window closes in 2 days. Just, who's been another revelation with the clip ball in, and a header from Maswanise. It's Livy 0, Motherwell 1.
He's in fire, isn't he? Yeah. He's in absolute fire, this guy.
Can you just take him off now and just keep him under wraps for Monday night?
Listen, all it does, because Motherwell hold all these cards, it just rises. The money rises.
I think the Celtic supporters will clamour for Maswanise over the weekend, I think, because he plays in the same league as Celtic. He's the top goal scorer in the league, and Celtic need an out-and-out goal scorer. I know that Benji Nygren has done exceptionally well this season, domestically and in Europe, but how hard is it for Celtic to go and buy a player from Motherwell?
The thing about it is...
Excuse me, I don't like your tone there.
The thing about it is, Hugh, and this is why I think he would have been a better option than Bowie. Completely different players. But Maswanise can play off a side as well. Yeah. And he's comfortable playing off that. He's got everything there. Now, we've seen it a million times that players from the Motherwells, the Hibs, the Hearts, Kilmarnocks, going to Rangers, and sometimes it's just too big a step. I think this guy would have been a great signing for Celtic or Rangers, I've got to say.
It's a good goal, actually, as you've come to sort of realise. Lots of passes involved, and then there's that little bit that goes a bit more direct, where it's a cross from deep, which Motherwell don't do loads, but the build up to it's really good. And Masfinisi scoring the goal there as well. So we've got our first goal of the afternoon. It's Livy 0, Motherwell 1. Before we get any more interruptions, let's see any other goals in Scotland. Tell you who needs a result majorly.
Yes.
East Kilbride.
East Kilbride. Second, they played first in Spartans the other night at home and lost 6-0. They are desperate, and Jack Leach has opened the scoring with 3 minutes on the clock there. So East Kilbride won 4-0. Did you see Scott Allen go all serious when we asked him about it last night? So obviously the tone of the show, you guys are there as pundits, and it's all quite relaxed and it's fun and it's Friday and we're trying to have a little bit of fun, and we asked him about it. And he started dusting off all the cliches, talking about, it was a sore one, but the good thing is we've got a game straight away to try and bounce back on.
Scotty,
Come on.
Oh, they got a real going over, didn't they?
Straight from pundit mode to coach mode.
Yeah, there's nothing better. I always look. I love to see Livy because of Marv getting beat. I love to see Scotty because he's Kilbride getting beat. And I'm desperate for Wilson to fall flat in his face.
Tell me, what about that last night? Seriously, did you see his celebration, if you can call it that?
Yeah. He's got that now, isn't he?
Did you see it?
That's his trademark.
Is that as exciting? I'm no offence, Partick Thistle fans, but as a few people have pointed out on my Twitter feed this morning, he got more excited than that when he used to win at Beat the Pundit. His team have just scored a 97th minute penalty to equalise at the top of the league. He fist pumps and then just turns away as if he's away to think about what he's having for his breakfast.
It's because he knows that the Dazzler's watching on the screen.
He knows.
And the Dazzler will slaughter him the following day.
He's got to give more than that. Where's...
He's a
Come on.
professional.
With the first goal, he didn't even react. Listen, I like that because he's focusing.
Show some emotion,
especially in the last minute.
No, and I've seen him overdoing the
What are you going to do if he becomes the next Celtic manager?
Oh mate, I know. I swear I will need I'll need to go to some other country. I couldn't talk with that. See if he gets another big job, I will be devastated. Devastated.
This is his best pal in the world.
It's shocking, isn't it? It's shocking.
You said you wanted to give one of your other pals a shout out. This seems like a good moment.
Oh
to do it if you want
he's
to.
listening to his show. He's up in Wishaw Hospital. My best buddy, Drew Moffat, wee bomber. Get well, son. He'll be home on Monday, hopefully. The blame of everything was laid at my door because he's just finished my new bathroom and kitchen, so and he ends up in the hospital. So I'm very sorry for that. But listen, we're all thinking, man. Anyway,
you do stress people out right enough. Go on, Hugh. Let's get this up and running. Probably a bit later than anticipated.
The first half teaser
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Straightforward. Tell me the last 5 captains to get a league win against Celtic at Celtic Park. Falkirk are there tomorrow.
Okay, I like
Who
it.
are the last 5 captains to get a win against Celtic in the league at Celtic Park?
Go right now, because it is a race to get them all on one tweet. Send it over, and that's how you win the first half teaser.
Who's the Falkirk captain?
Brad Spencer.
Brad Spencer,
John's boy, right.
By the way, he's been sensational.
Brilliant player.
Do you know what I like about him as well? It's him and Dylan Tate together. Just like I don't think one's necessarily been better than the other. Both just excellent together, haven't they?
Complement each other as well.
And plus the fact, you look at I am a big fan of Calvin Miller. I think
he's been outstanding.
Honestly, he is really up to his game. But you've got to give credit to every one of them. They've been brilliant.
And then you get to Barney, the goal scorer.
My favourite story of the season.
University.
Incredible. Hat trick.
Anyway, that's your first half teaser. We got distracted very quickly. So at Clyde SSB, we need all the names on one tweet, and you need to beat everyone else. That's certainly how you win. But if you want to just tweet and throw a couple of names in there, see what you can get right, I'll help you as we go along. We will eliminate some wrong answers and try and work it through together. Then that's absolutely fine. Goals down the leagues, Cammy Bell celebrating, Annan 1, Clyde 0. Maybe going against the league table, that result so far. Alloa 1, Cove 0, Queen of the South 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 1. So we're truly up and running.
Yep. And Livy are truly down and sinking.
Is it too early to say And Livy have still not won a game since August.
Of course it is. 3:10.
Oh, okay. Listen, that's the best
They
start
need to
possible
score
for
2
Motherwell.
goals to win, so just forget that idea.
Well, they've had a bit of defending to do as well. Stevie May had to clear Paul McGinn's header off the line as Motherwell looked for the second there.
The problem for Livingston is you can see Motherwell scoring again. Do you know what I mean? And that is the problem, that they've conceded so early on, and you then think Motherwell will get confidence and they score goals, whereas Livingston, as you mentioned, can you see them scoring too?
Cammy, if Motherwell score again, that will be the 50th league goal that Livy have lost this season.
They've got a problem, according to David Friel, is that before they worry about getting a goal, they need to worry about getting a touch. It's not quite happened yet. So
right. Is it silky stuff from the Steelmen?
Just doing what they normally do, but it's been quite accurate so far, and Livy really not had much of the ball.
Well, I listened to Marv on the programme during the week, and when he said that even if Celtic sign no one at all in the transfer window, they will win the league.
That was a big shout from him.
And at that point I understood why Livy haven't won a game since the 9th of August.
I was on the show that night with him. Listen,
you were making faces behind his back when he said it.
Yeah, well, I've got to behind his back. I'll never let him catch me. Celtic have got quality players, there's no doubt. But my big concern, especially, is the fact now they're still in Europe with another 2 games guaranteed, is injuries and suspensions. And all of a sudden, if they get a few, they've not got enough cover there to go on and take on Hearts and Rangers.
Because that's what's probably frustrating for Martin O'Neill and the current players, Cammy, for all that, whatever word you want to use, worry, anxiety about the transfer window, negativity, going through in Europe the other night is good. That's good news. That's well done, but it's almost been not overshadowed totally, but certainly not getting quite as much attention as it otherwise could have.
No, again, it was a brilliant result. You need to look at, not the best European opposition, but it was one they needed the pressure to go and win the game. They absolutely done that, as you say. Almost just got brushed aside as if they should have done that, and they were expected to do that, which, yes, we'll look at Celtic as a football club. They should do that and they should get through that tie, but it's not as easy as saying that. Listen, the unrest is there because the Celtic fans are worried at this moment in time. If they don't get anyone in the building, I'm not saying they can't win the league, but it's going to be really, really difficult.
Why are you not saying that then?
Because
a lot of the other pundits, Gordon, don't think Celtic win the league unless they sign.
I think the Martin O'Neill plays a big part in it. Why I think that Martin O'Neill's came in, I think he can get results with this squad. He's done it. He's proven that he can do that. He can get the best out of the players. He finds ways not to get beat as well in the big games. So I feel he needs to get players in to complement the squad, absolutely. But I wouldn't write them off yet.
There's a score correction going in. So Alloa 0, Cove 1. Now, is that who was in front? Were Alloa in front a minute ago? No?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that goal must not have stood in.
They flipped it to a goal from Josh Gentles to an own goal from...
so the guy that's phoning it in has said Gentles has scored. It's gone back to 0-0. What is this chaos? So Alloa were winning, then Cove were winning.
No, it's a draw.
It's back to 0-0 again.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden that game's getting way more airtime than anyone thought it would.
Exactly.
But there we go. Big chance for Dundee, for Congreve. He's been excellent for them, hasn't he? Scuffed shot from Yogan's cross, and we've got a goal at Rugby Park. But which way is it going?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Kilmarnock needed it and they've got it. It is the skipper, Brad Lyons. Actually had a good chance to score at the end of the game at Fir Park last week. Couldn't take it. He does take this one off of his head. It's Kilty's cross, and Kilmarnock lead Aberdeen by 1-0.
And as things stand, Kilmarnock would go 6 points away from Livy at the foot of the table, and that would make it an even more horrible day for Davy Martindale.
Listen, I can see why you've made that mistake.
Yeah, but so it's a great start for them. How do you figure Aberdeen? They score 6 goals. All right, it was against Livy, but they scored 6 goals last weekend, and now they're behind to a team. My mind goes back to 5 o'clock last Saturday. The first 2 or 3 callers we had, Kilmarnock fans in the depths of their despair, absolutely inconsolable, feeling that they were a certainty to go down. Fair play to Neil McCann, Billy Dodds. They got 3 players in the space of days, and at the moment, as things stand, it looks positive.
I I wish I hadn't mentioned it, but I just feel like now I have to correct it. So it's Alloa 1, Cove 0. I know not that many people might have a vested interest, but I just don't want to give out wrong information, and I've got no idea why there is so much confusion. Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 1. Ewan Henderson signed Dom Thomas yesterday, left Ayr. I was quite interested in that as a championship signing.
Yeah. Dom Thomas is a good player at that level. I think he's struggled a little bit recently, because I know he was over in Ireland for a period and then he came back. It's not really worked out for him, so he's obviously took the opportunity to move on.
It's all happening.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 0. It is Bruce Anderson. It's the former Aberdeen striker. It is a quick fire double in Ayrshire. That is exactly what Neil McCann would have been looking for. A low drive from the edge of the box, and Kilmarnock have doubled their advantage before 3:15.
Or you can forget any talk of Peter leaving, getting the job now. Not any hope whatsoever, but that is a shocking start from Aberdeen. They bring in players you've never heard of. There's no identity. I know it can't always be Alec McLeish and Willie Miller and Jim Leighton and all. I know that. That's not the way of the 21st century. However, that's a shocking start. They're in bottom 6 and they are on the slide.
See, to be fair, they've also brought in players that you have absolutely heard of. Jesper Karlsson with all his Sweden caps, and now he's gone back because that hasn't worked out, or maybe going to go elsewhere. And Stuart Armstrong and
They've got a good team.
There's a lot of money spent there.
Listen, there's a huge amount of money spent at Aberdeen. They've got a good team.
They've not got a good team.
They've got a good team on paper. I would say, yes, but they're not playing well as a team. But again, is that down to they've not got a manager? It's been a long period now that they've not had a manager. And yes, we can all say Peter Leven's in charge, but the players know he's not getting the job, so it's different.
But when they had a manager, they were still rotten.
Yeah, they've been rotten for a while.
So they're not a good team.
Do you think it's an absolute... I know, obviously, I can't really put up a case for Peter Leven specifically right now, but why is it taking this long then? Because Lutz Pfannenstiel gave that interview a couple of weeks ago, and he spoke about there just not being loads of available managers right now. And
in one of his very, very early interviews, Pfannenstiel said it might take 6 days, it might take 6 weeks, it might take 6 months. Because I remember writing in my own Sunday newspaper column that if it takes 6 months, you've made the wrong decision, Lutz. Don't worry about that. So I think he exerts a heavy influence now at Aberdeen, and I don't know. I just wonder if the club's losing its way.
This result today, though, again, is damaging for Aberdeen, because if Aberdeen are wanting to get into that top 6, you can see that Falkirk are away to Celtic tomorrow, so it's an opportunity to get closer to them, to that top 6 spot. So if they get beat today, it's really damaging for them.
Yeah, a couple of those clubs are running out of time, really, to worry about the top 6. Gordon, it dawned on me from a Motherwell perspective. Motherwell have probably secured the top 6 place with 10 games to spare.
Oh, easy.
Which is, imagine offering that at the start of the season.
I think some people are looking at,
of course,
can Motherwell do a top 3 the way they're playing? Because you've got to sit up and take notice of a team that at home have had 9 clean sheets, right? You've got to. The football they're playing, they're going there, they're beating teams, they've no fear of anyone, so you've got to take notice of them. I look at that top 6, I don't see Aberdeen, Dundee United or Dundee catching Falkirk. I don't.
Well, you think it's done? You think the top 6 stays as it is?
Yeah, I think.
Interesting.
I do believe that Celtic will probably beat Falkirk tomorrow, at home. I think it'll be a real hard game.
But what about this for a point from Fraser Wishart, which is a fair one? If Aberdeen lose today, and midweek and in the cup against Motherwell, then the season's over, really. So do you rush into, do you force a manager now, or do you just give up and do it in the summer?
Yeah, I don't think there's any point in shoehorning someone in, because when you do that, you invariably end up with the wrong guy. They'll need to just totter on as they are doing. If they get a win over Celtic midweek, then that will keep everyone happy, or happy-ish. But they are on the slide and they've lost all sense of identity.
However, they were trailing against Livy on the stroke of half-time last week and won 6-2. So we're quite bad for this on a Saturday.
And also Kilmarnock aren't great at keeping clean sheets. So mention that.
Let's wait and see. But anyway, right, there's another goal. Morton 1, Ross County 0. Eamon Brophy with the goal there on 19 minutes.
Bad news for Queen's Park and Ross County. Queen's Park are bottom, Ross County second bottom, and both are currently 1 down.
And the food chain dictates that Queen's Park had their best player taken away. I mean, he was bought for a good fee by St Johnstone, Josh Fowler, but nevertheless, Queen of the South have equalised. Kai Kennedy against Inverness Cally Thistle. Not much happening. St Mirren are struggling to create in the game at home against Dundee. Kelly cruising 2-0 up against Aberdeen. Livy 0, Motherwell 1. And our featured championship match, Ayr 0, Wraith Rovers 0. What about the old pitch at McDermott last night?
Well, for me, I know that we live in a coarse environment where old-fashioned people say, you can play in anything. That pitch for me last night was unplayable, and it was unfair on two teams who are going for promotion to the Premiership, with all that entails in terms of financial advantages, and they're asked to play on something that you wouldn't walk on, never mind try and play football on.
In my day, in Fraser's day, that was a good bowling. That was a bowling.
Yeah, but now it's 2026.
Problem is, I know what Hugh means. I think that it completely ruins football, that, and you can't then play really, the way you want to. But at the same time, you can't call that game off last night, because you'll call 10 of them off. And like genuinely down the leagues, and maybe even at the bottom end of the Premiership, seasons would never get finished. But it is a difficult one.
It is a difficult one. It's not great to see. It's not great to watch on the telly. McDermott Park's always been like that for me. And again, it's probably the situation that the pitch sits low in that area. The stands are quite tall and it won't get a lot of sunlight, so that's probably again why it's such a poor surface that they've got there. But it's not great to see.
Because you got credit to two teams.
I know.
I thought the 3 minutes I watched was as exciting as I've seen a 3 minutes in a long time.
20 miles up the road tonight, Hearts, trying to win the title for the first time in decades, will be asked to play on a similar surface against Dundee United, because that region of the country has been absolutely hammered by awful rain. Dundee United pitch has had its problems this season, and there you are, Hearts with everything to play for will be asked to play on something that you wouldn't walk your dog on.
Is this where a little bit of nuance is required for the artificial pitch debate? This is the sort of thing that Falkirk have been pushing for and been trying to mention, because if your choice is, like, we all agree, everybody prefers grass, everybody, but if the reality of your choice is that pitch last night, or Livy's today, which is a new Astro, and crucially it's wet because it's been raining, Motherwell are passing the ball around for fun on that today. So do we need to get away from the notion that artificial bad grass good? There has to be loads of grey areas in the middle that we need to find a way of working through. Surely
I have to undergo a grass inspection.
Well,
is your grass pitch good enough?
I think that to be fair, then I think that is what they are trying to put in, isn't it? If they're saying top flight is for grass only, it has to be a certain standard.
Yeah, well, we've seen it at Dundee recently in recent years, where they had so many games called off, and then there was a whole hoo-ha of trying to fit in fixtures, and then they completely ripped up their pitch and relaid it and sorted out the drainage and stuff. So yeah, I think it's all about the standard of the grass pitch
and the standard of the Astro.
Yes,
because as we said, then if you relay them as often, I say it again, Livy's is new and it's slick today, so that is much better than what you saw last night.
100%. There's an argument for that, because you do look at that pitch last night, it was terrible. And you quite rightly say a good footballing team goes to Livingston today on a good pitch, and they're passing them off the pitch, and Livy training that every single day, so you would think they'd be used to it. But I'm still of the mindset we've got to get good grass pitches in for our top level.
And before someone points out that St Johnstone aren't in the top flight, I accept that, but they're trying to be.
And that's the point.
So
can I remind you?
Just quickly, another big chance for Motherwell on said pitch. Elijah just goes through, he curls it off the post. He probably should score or even square it to Maswanisi. Livy fans are not impressed with what they are witnessing. Fraser Wishart quite rightly pointing out as well that in Holland the big clubs gives a percentage of their European earnings to a pot which other clubs use to improve their pitches. That wouldn't catch on here, would it?
Fraser's been in charge of PFA Scotland long enough to know that if you put that idea in front of all the clubs here, they'll say, Fraser, sit down.
What's your favourite phrase again? Scottish football runs on
spite, malice and mistrust.
I think that's one of my favourites of yours. Right, go on, your teaser.
Tell me the last 5 captains to get a league win against Celtic at Celtic Park. Simple as that.
Right, simple as that, says Hugh Keevins. But are you making it look simple out there? It is a league win. Remember, that's the crucial point here, because I think there's another sneaky cup in there at some point.
No, it's league wins.
No, I'm saying just make sure you're sticking to the league. That's the point I'm trying to make. What else have we got here? Okay, Dean Devine thinks Stuart Finlay.
No.
Okay, what else have we got? 1312, various letters in the Twitter handle that I can't quite decipher, says Keith Lasley.
Laz, not him.
It's a while back, is it not?
It is a bit. Someone has included all sorts of European captains here. It's just league, unfortunately, so we can rule out some of them. Greg's Gardens thinks Russell Anderson could be one.
No.
Right, okay. Keep your guesses coming then. Let's see how we get on. You got any, Gordon DL?
Yeah, I've got a couple of obvious ones. In fact, I've got one above a couple. I've got 3.
Yeah.
So
good on you.
And many is it? 5?
5, yep.
Queen's Park have equalised.
I might have 4
against Arbroath, Aidan Conley. So it's Queen's Park 1, Arbroath 1.
Bad news for Ross County, because they're the club directly above Queen's Park and they're losing. So as things stand, another bit of pressure on Ross County, who sold Ronan Hale
they did
in the week.
Yep.
Good goal scorer.
Such when the money's right. We mentioned Queen's Park earlier, for one team in the Championship to pay a good fee for another striker in the Championship. Thought that was quite an interesting one this week. But always hard to take your eyes off Scotland's second top tier, unless of course you're Alison McConnell, who's at Ayr United and Wraith Rovers, and absolutely nothing is happening yet.
Yeah. Well, I'll sort Brunei out when I go down there.
Oh, we got a date in the diary for that.
Oh, Partick Thistle.
He's going to a Partick game.
Oh yeah, when is that? April game. Did we say?
April 4, I think it is.
Is that I take it that's a Friday, yeah?
No, Saturday.
Hold your thoughts.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
He's going to be sold before Monday, isn't he? It's Maswinisi again. Motherwell double their advantage. Livy 0, Motherwell 2, and you cannot stop this man this season. He has been on fire since the League Cup group stages, and he turns up nearly every week, except when he's away at AFCON, and he scored there as well. So he gets the ball onto his right foot, just shapes one into the far corner, and Motherwell looking comfortable. It's Livy 0, Motherwell 2.
Let me ask you this question then. When did Martin O'Neill turn up at Fir Park?
That was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Right, 2 weeks ago today.
I was just thinking the exact same as you're now going.
So was I. Did Martin O'Neill look at Masmanisi and think, not for us? Or
I think
are Celtic so bad at transfer windows that 2 weeks after Martin O'Neill's watched them at Fir Park, they still can't get anything done?
I don't think Celtic want them, quite frankly.
They don't want them. That's it.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
Might not suit Martin O'Neill's
or didn't want him at that point, or he's not, word it however way you want, not high enough up on their list or whatever. But I know Martin O'Neill played it down. I think they were, I understand, or I believe they were there to have a look, and I think they just decided not to.
Yeah,
so for now, again,
I'm surprised, because again, you're looking at Celtic and what they need at this moment in time. We're talking about right now to win the league this season. Goals. He gives you goals.
But Sean Maloney said yesterday Martin has the final say, and my guess, and of course we can offer no hard and fast proof, but my guess, like the Dazzler, is that Martin O'Neill went to Fir Park, had a look and thought, not for me.
Yep. Maswinisi, the great thing about the way he fits this Motherwell team as well is, because remember that arguably the best performance of the lot is the Celtic one. That's the one when everybody took notice. He wasn't there. He's at AFCON.
Yeah.
So he's different to the rest. Cammy, he's not as tidy. He's raw. He's direct. He runs in behind. In this season, his finishing's obviously been really good. So he complements everything so well.
Variety of goals as well. I think he scores with his head. He's done that today, obviously, and then he finishes, as you say. He's unpredictable. And again, I think that's one of his real strengths. Is that defenders don't know what he's going to do. Sometimes it looks as if he doesn't know what he's doing, but again, I absolutely believe he does. He's a very good player.
And in our featured championship match,
goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It's a goal for Ayr United. Ben Dempsey's free kick. Curtis Main might have got a touch. Ayr are giving the goal to Dempsey, but I think Main's trying to make a claim that he got a little touch just to direct it into the corner. I don't think we need to argue too much about who scored it. The important thing is that Ayr won, Wraith Rovers nil. That'll be Gordon Dale back to be supporting Ayr now. He'll maybe change his mind before the end of the day.
Bruni won't care who scored it. All he'll be thinking about is Dunfermline are losing and I'm winning. And Dunfermline have become a problem for Ayr United, but as things stand, Ayr maintain their place and Dunfermline are beneath them.
I've got a soft spot for both of the teams.
We know, right? We've done it. Yeah. You're just going to make up some other lie about your prominence, so we'll just move on. East Kilbride 2, Forfar 0. Cammy Elliott, we said they had to bounce back quite simply after that 6-0 hammering at home to Spartans. And I don't know if you've seen the goals, but my goodness, did you watch them?
I'd seen them on Thursday.
Oh my word.
I seen them on Thursday.
There's been a pretty nasty incident down at Rugby Park. So Matt Knuster, a clash of heads, extensive treatment, stretcher on. Don't even need to point out that we all wish him well. It should go without saying, but hopefully that's not as bad as it looks, and then the football match can resume. His health and safety obviously the main priority. It looks like the landing that's hurt him as well, so a bit of a nasty one for Matt Knuster. And Aberdeen are 2-0 down incidentally as well, away to Kilmarnock. A few goals going in down the leagues if you're interested. Dumbarton won. We did Dumbarton fan up against Hugh and beat the pundit last night. He said he was confident ahead of the game against Edinburgh City. Leighton McIntosh has put them one up. Peterhead, Steny have been going great, but Peterhead have come down and they're one up thanks to Kieran Shanks. And Spartans are level at Elgin with a Mark McNulty penalty. 7 ambulance staff and the physio around Mark Knuster. So really want to underline that. We wish him well and hope that somehow reaches a conclusion that's a bit happier than the way it looks at the moment, because he's taken a real sore one. Reminders of your teaser, Hugh.
Tell me the last 5 captains to get a league win over Celtic at Celtic Park.
Okay,
I've got 4.
Oh, good man.
I'm surprised at that, because how can you remember these? You don't remember anything.
Because Roger hadn't said them text
messages.
That's the who am I he does that with.
No, Roger has only once this season given me an answer, and I outed him for his cheating, because I don't stand by
Jamie
that.
Dock would like to throw in Marcus Fraser.
No.
Okay, that's not one of the last 5 in the league.
Remember, it's at Celtic Park. You know, keep thinking Celtic Park.
We know where that is.
No, but some people may be just falling into that trap. The one, there's a couple there as well, because I'm seeing names like Manuel Neuer getting thrown in. It's a league only. We wish. With Cammy Bell's telling us there's been a bit of a goalkeeping slip in standards this season. It'd be nice if we'd had him at some point. Who's been the best for you over that era, Mr. Goalie? Let's go just kind of modern era, as loose as you like. I haven't fully thought the question through, if I'm being honest.
Scottish or
no, like Europe. Best in the biz. So if you go that elite group of like Neuer, Casillas, Buffon, who's the standout for you? Just curious how goalies see it.
I would go Buffon. I think that's where I just think longevity, consistency, and they've all had it at the top level, but again, he was just phenomenal. Top goalie, just looked and played brilliantly. He actually adjusted to playing out from the back. He was very calm on the ball. I know Neuer's the one that's obviously the sweeper keeper and has done that for years, but yeah, Buffon was the one for me.
There we go. Not something I expected to discuss or debate. If anyone feels strongly, you can argue, or we just get back to our bread and butter.
Yes, thank you.
Just an idea pops into your head sometimes. You don't know where it's going to go. Right, Livy trailing 2-0 at home to Motherwell. Kilmarnock 2-0 up at home to Aberdeen after that long delay. Don't even know if we're back underway yet. They were waiting to lift him gently onto the stretcher. Matt Knuster. Ayr United 1 up at home to Wraith in our featured championship match, and Fraser Wishart used to have a reputation for being a bit of a nil-nilsman. He tried to shake it off in recent seasons, but it's still St Mirren 0, Dundee 0. Matt Knuster still down as well for Aberdeen, so it really doesn't sound great.
That's a real worry. You know, the amount of first responders, if I can put it that way, the length of time, the fact that he's still on the ground, that's a real concern. Roger will sort all that out at half time for us.
Fraser's gone in early, thinks this could be 0-0.
Oh, no.
It's only 34 minutes gone.
Well, I said to you last night, St Mirren, 17 goals from 22 games. It could be a bore-fest draw. And I don't get much right, but
did you go for a draw there, Hugh?
I said a bore-fest draw.
No, in your prediction, did you go draw?
I went for a St Mirren win.
That sums him up, seriously.
Or it could be an away win.
Yeah,
I'm
on to him now. So on Friday night he says one thing, Saturday he says the other.
Yeah.
He just hedges his bets. Surely we get a win on the pundit predictor this week. Honestly, we started it on the 22nd of August. Every Friday night we get someone to phone in.
I just still not won.
No, we still never been
Who's
won.
this week?
Angela
from Campsie.
And who's the three teams?
She went
Celtic to win. She went Celtic to win.
And
Rangers to draw.
And that game, there was a draw today as well, wasn't there? Was it St Mirren Dundee?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So 2 draws and a Celtic win.
Come on, Angela.
1,800 quid for
do
grabs.
That would do you fine.
Right, no other goals going in at the moment. I did say keep the teaser answers coming at Clyde SSB. Producer Ryan, do we have anyone all correct yet? Do we need only one? So there's still space on that podium. Just read the question, Hugh. I won't do any more wrong answers.
Yeah, tell me the last 5 captains to get a league win over Celtic at Celtic Park.
Right, so loads of you are getting close now. It is league, focus on that. No other competitions matter. Some of them are maybe quite obvious, some are quite recent. I'll tell you what we'll do actually. Let's go a little clue just on the time frame. How does that work? So the furthest back is May 2018.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a long way.
There then are you're then a kind of a spread. There's one in 2021. There's then 2 players that have done it twice. So that maybe tells you the type of club that they captain. Yeah, okay, good. Right, that's fine. And the most recent one is a fraction sneaky because he's not the club captain.
He was captain on the day.
He was captain on the day.
Yeah, I've got that.
Oh, do you? Right, okay, sorry. Didn't realise you were.
That was quite easy, that one.
Nilsson's come on for Knuster. That's him eventually being stretchered off. A 6-minute delay, says Roger Hannah. I must admit, I thought it was more. It sort of felt like more. And the game will get back underway, so Fraser will be a long way behind us there.
I would say that Motherwell being 2 up at Livingston is perfectly understandable, given that Livy are hopeless.
Actually, Maswinisi's just missed a chance to make it 3.
Yeah, they are hopeless, Livy. But for me, the Kilmarnock scoreline is the biggest surprise of the day so far, because who among us saw that coming? And so what are you, if you're Dave Cormack, the owner of Aberdeen, you've picked one bad manager after another, and you've got Peter Leaven in caretaker charge. The next managerial appointment there has to be a very, very good one, because this is a club, we've got 5 big clubs in Scotland: Celtic, Rangers, Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, and 1/5 of them is slipping away.
And Jimmy Tillene one's difficult because, all things considered, if you offer the Aberdeen fans his era in charge, exactly as you got it, they take it, because they won the Scottish Cup.
Yeah.
So, you know, Hugh's quick to point out they don't win a lot of them. It had been a while since they won it.
Yep.
These are the types of days that live with fans forever. So if Aberdeen fans had the chance to do the Jimmy Tillene era again, they would. You know, they wouldn't regret that appointment.
But I'm talking about the general identity of the club.
Sure, no, listen, and I get that, but I just mean that's where he kind of muddied the waters a bit. You wouldn't swap him.
They should put sunglasses on that statue of Fergie outside Pittodrie, because they must be fed up looking at them.
Can you see through sunglasses?
not when the hair comes
blindfold.
off.
One of the really dark
and then
ones.
put 2 plasters over his sunglasses.
When the hair comes off the North Sea,
brilliant.
that steams up the sunglasses and you can't see.
More chances for Motherwell, just pressing and pressing. That last Maswinisi one that he blazed over, probably should have taken it in towards the goalkeeper. And
if this ends up ugly for Livingston, where does it leave them and David Martindale
in the Championship?
Yeah, but again, is the question we spoke about last week? Is there a question over David Martindale's future, or would they just continue to keep him in charge till the end of the season?
I think if there was any question mark over his future. It would have happened 10 games ago.
David Friel's really enjoying himself because he's at Livingston.
Sure is.
So that last attack, Motherwell just has a wee flick, then goes to side, who gives it the old Rabona cross. I've seen David Friel play amateur football. He's agricultural, so this will be an eye opener for him.
Hold on, tell the truth. You told me he was absolutely hopeless.
No, he's decent, but he's agricultural.
He's a centre back, isn't he?
And he's
give me a pair of boots. I would miss when you see him all
You've
over
not
the park.
ran since 1996.
I wouldn't need to run. Have you seen him? Big giraffe legs.
Literally 30 years since you last as
He's
much
not
as
a big
jogged.
giraffe.
You couldn't. You've told me this before. You tried to run somewhere to get, and you couldn't. You physically couldn't make your legs move.
Remember we played walking football.
Oh, you were good at that,
I was
actually.
dynamite, man. Dynamite. Aye.
I'm looking for a sponsor.
Oh, you heard about this?
No.
I
He's
fancy
getting
a
involved
go.
in Cash for Kids.
Yeah, I fancy a go at that 5k.
Every day.
Listen, give me a sponsor. I'm the man that walks everywhere.
I know.
I've been pushing babies in prams.
That's because you can't drive.
Well, what difference does that make?
You know what, mate? Do you know what you'll do for your 5k?
Right, so now this is serious.
You'll bag a lift.
So, Clyde One Cash for Kids, there's a 5k a day challenge throughout February. We're asking everyone to get involved. Do a 5k every day, as the title suggests. However you like. Walk it, run it, so on. You think you could manage it every day?
Yeah.
Right, there you go.
5k. What's 5k in
3
real
mile.
money?
3 mile.
Yeah, no
Three and a
problem.
bit. Every day. But we're going to need to get him.
day.
Hold on, though. We need to get him a pedometer, because everybody else has either got a phone or a watch that tells you how far you've walked.
I'll tell you what,
You're going to
then.
need to get an ordnance survey map out.
I walk from my place down here 5 days in a row. There you are. That must be 3 miles away from here, right?
Then we've got to get
How are
you
we gonna
5
get you home?
taxis home. Because of the
Do you know what?
back
For my own comfort, right? Stay close to the house. Figure out a wee 5k loop. Don't walk to Clydebank. Then we need to get you back home.
I was the one who put on the high-techs in the snow and walked here in the snow.
But what I'm saying is, just do it. I'm supporting
But
you
I want a
wholeheartedly.
sponsor.
But stay close to the house. Don't,
All right, then.
Don't walk here. Anyway,
How far is your house from here?
I reckon it's 3 miles.
3 miles.
Yeah. It's 3 miles from my house to Firhill.
Well, you should walk down at just as your show's ending, Monday to Friday, and someone will take you home.
no, because it's at night. Anyway, stop confusing it. Any sponsors out there want to stick some money into Cash for Kids, and Hugh Keevins, at the age of 76, will walk 5k every day for the duration of February, hail, rain or shine. I think that's a good commitment from you.
Outstanding.
Brilliant. Honestly, not happy with putting $1,000 on the table for Cash for Kids a couple of weeks ago. He's gone and
Got to look after the Waynes.
And you've got to think, as that moustache gets better, it'll get heavier.
That's
It
true.
Might put you under a little bit of pressure.
Great calculation from you as well. Producer Ryan has looked up your house and it is exactly 3 miles from here.
Amazing.
There you go.
There you go.
So, and also then
You quicken your stride when you're going through Drumchapel because they take football seriously there.
maybe we could involve the community here. If you see Hugh Keevins out and about in the streets during February, make sure you give him support.
No,
is the word.
Give them 2 tins, and people can come up and put some
cash in.
Aye, for Cash for
great.
Kids. Or a wheelbarrow.
I'm looking forward to this. He's a new man, this guy. He's going to
Yeah,
walk 5k every day, and he's got a new tash coming for the move to the city centre.
That's it.
Good.
And Motherwell are still 2 up.
Fraser Wishart says it's a long 3 miles when you're giving Hugh a lift home. But there we go. Well done to you, Shug. Right.
He's got the most expensive car. I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, you wouldn't doubt that, though. He's a man of class.
Yeah.
Sophistication. Right, where are we? About 5 minutes, depending on what game you're at. Obviously, Roger Hannah will be a bit behind. Motherwell just with 13 attacks here to try and make it 3, but it hasn't come to fruition yet. They're 2-0 up. Kelly 2-0 up at home to Aberdeen. That's maybe the biggest eye-opening scoreline so far. Still only 1 on the podium. Right, we'll try and do it at half time then, 'cause I'm going to give you more time. I don't know how many more clues I can give you. The 5 last different captains to get a league win against Celtic at Celtic Park. Here's what you've got: 2 from Rangers, 1 from Hearts, 1 from St Mirren, 1 from Aberdeen. Come on, go. I'm feeling generous, feeling charitable. Let's get them
all
on the podium.
Got them. I just needed the teams. I've got them.
What one did you need? What were you lacking?
St Mirren.
You think you've got the captain of that, though?
Yeah.
Show me your paper. I don't believe you do. I think you'll forget he was a St Mirren captain.
No,
Come on.
Is he playing with Motherwell today?
No.
No, I didn't think he was. No, I've not got the St Mirren.
Who do you think?
Nobody. Doesn't matter.
No.
I'm not going for it. I'm not.
Which
Motherwell player?
do you think? Paul McGinn?
Did he play?
No, he did, but he wasn't the St Mirren captain then. No.
Right, okay.
The guy you're looking for, the St Mirren captain, is also formerly of Aberdeen, St Johnstone, and is he currently at Dundee? I feel like if he is, he's injured. But anyway.
Oh, still don't know that.
No? Irish. Can I give you much more? Do you want his shoe size and his star sign?
Who?
That's it, you whisper it right next to the mic, Cammy. That'll be fine. It's fine, to be fair. I don't mind now because we're trying to help people along. Do charades. He's trying to act out his hair.
Amazing. Cammy just said Ronan Keating.
Also, I said that he might still be at Dundee, to which Fraser Wishart has pointed out he's in Australia, so absolutely not in Dundee anymore. It's half time at Livingston. David Friel.
Half time, Gordon Livingston 0, Motherwell 2. Motherwell, the great entertainers, they're entertaining everyone apart from the Livy fans who just gave some loud boos at the half time whistle there. Motherwell cruising to another 3 points. Tawanda Maswanisi's double, taking his club tally to 18 for the season. Add in that AFCON goal for Zimbabwe, he's on to 19. He's just gone up the tunnel just now. You wouldn't blame Jens Bertalascu for keeping him inside, put him under lock and key until the transfer window ends on Monday night. He's been the star once again for Motherwell, but this has been a team effort. They've been outstanding. Elijah Just, Callum Slattery, Ibrahim Said, they've also been really, really good. Motherwell looking good for another win here. Livy actually the first chance of the game, opening minutes. Scott Pittman and Stevie May combined to set up Conor McLennan. He had the goal at his mercy, but he seemed to wait too long to get his shot away. He took an age. Callum Ward came out and make a great save, and that missed chance came back to haunt Livy as Maswanisi headed Motherwell ahead just at 5 minutes. Once again, the move started out from the back by Paul McGinn. Few players involved. It ended with Elijah just clipping a lovely cross into the box. To be fair to Maswanisi, still had some work to do, but he managed to twist his body and loop a header over the stranded Jerome Prior. Motherwell pushed hard for a second. They had some decent efforts. Paul McGinn's header was cleared off the line by Stephen May. Callum Slattery's volley was saved by Prior. Elijah just then burst through. He curled a shot off the post. Maybe could have squared for Maswanisi to make it 2-0, but then he did make it 2-0 anyway in 28 minutes. Dan Finlayson didn't clear properly. The ball fell to Slattery. He played in the striker, and what a finish it was, curling into the far corner with his right foot. Maswanisi then fired over the bars. He chased his hat-trick against a really toiling Livy backline. He then also had a shot saved after another brilliant move. As I said, the home fans are absolutely raging, but the performance from Motherwell has been absolutely outstanding. Half time, Livingston 0, Motherwell 2.
Yeah, very comfortable so far for Motherwell. There's now a VAR check for a Kilmarnock penalty. Can you imagine those travelling Aberdeen fans? You'll need to imagine, because it was no penalty in the end. That was a quick check, but 9 minutes added there. I think we're going to have a little delay at some of the others. In fact, no, we've got one in our championship game at Ayr. Let's hear from Alison McConnell.
Yeah, Ben Dempsey's goal is the difference between the teams here at Somerset Park. It came on the half-hour mark, a free kick that seemed to elude everyone and end up in the back of the net. There was a question of whether or not Curtis Main had got a touch on it, but regardless of who scored, it was a huge one for Scott Brown's side, with that goal now taking them ahead of Dunfermline, who are currently trailing to Airdrie, and of course taking them back into the playoff spot. Brown has been fairly animated from his straitjacket in the stand. He's been scribbling notes, pointing fingers and kicking every ball as it were, but by and large this one's been pretty scrappy, stop-start, neither team really finding their fluency. There was one early concern for Wraith when Jack Hamilton went down inside the box, and he needed a fair bit of treatment before he was able to then carry on. Other than that, Mark McKenzie had brought out a decent save from Josh Ray just in the opening exchanges of this one, with the goalkeeper getting down to push the ball away from his left hand side. Dougie Emery contesting a throw-in that went Ayer's way and hanging on to the ball for a couple of seconds provided a bit of entertainment for the home support before that opener came. Wraith's only real chance is come when Max Thompson, the goalkeeper that's just come in on loan from Newcastle, he pushed away an effort from Hamilton, and then there was almost a comical note when a long pass back rolled under the boot of Josh Ray before then just rolling out of play behind the goal. But nothing really between the teams at the minute. Ayr are on top for now, but every chance that there might be more goals in this one. Half time at the minute, and it's Ayr 1, Wraith 0.
Well, we've got a goal in that one. We're still waiting in some of our other half-time games. Lots of delays. Fraser Wishart should be with us very soon, so let's just quickly reflect on what we've heard so far. It sounds comfortable. It is comfortable. I don't know what I was worried about personally at the start. Motherwell are making light work so far of Livy.
Yeah, they are. They've been impressive the first half, from what it sounds like. Very comfortable, 2 good goals. Again, we speak about the pitch. The pitch probably suits Motherwell. Again, a little bit of rain on it. It's a good true surface to pass the ball about, so it's been an absolute domination from Motherwell in that first half, and Livingston sounds as if they couldn't even get out their half, so it's really worrying for them, and it looks as if it's going to be an easy afternoon.
Half time, St Mirren v Dundee in Paisley, watched by Fraser Wishart.
St Mirren 0, Dundee 0, won't be much to report on. It's been a really poor game. The stats sometimes will say, only 9 touches in total for both sides in their opponent's box, and really nothing at either end to scare the defences or the keepers. Dundee actually started quite brightly, confident possession, playing it around in Motherwell style. 8th minute, first real chance for the away side. The Ugani cross on the left hand side wasn't cleared. It fell quickly to Congrove. He got his snapshot away, but he didn't get good contact. Scuffed the ball and it bobbled wide. He should have done better. Dundee continued to dominate possession in the early stages. St Mirren, couple of breaks, but they took the wrong choice. Young once when he passed to the right, and he should have gone to Etete on the left, but did have a great chance in 17 minutes for a break from inside their own box. It was Etete who broke forward with the ball. He fed Gogic, who galloped forward on the right hand side. He played a lovely first time low cross into the box, and unbelievable, it was Richard King, centre back, that had come forward in support. 10 yards out, you're thinking goal, missed kick from 10 yards, and the ball went well wide. It was better from Saints all round, but they played better, but chances few and far between at either end. The game came scrappy, both sides giving it away too often. First shot on target came in 32 minutes. Ethan Hamilton 25 yards out, team effort, his left foot straight to Shamal George, but all in all the game lacked real quality in the first 45, just petered out towards half time. Neither side prepared to really take a chance, perhaps afraid of making an error that would cost their side the lead. We need to be much better in the second half from either or both of these sides if this isn't to finish 0-0. Half time in Paisley, St Mirren 0, Dundee 0.
And I think we'll just pause, will we, and hear from Roger Hannah when we return. A big delay there at Rugby Park, and we'll do the answers and winners of the first half teaser next as well.
Super Scoreboard.
Half-time whistles have gone across the majority of the games in Scotland. I don't think yet, though, at Rugby Park, because there was that long delay, a really terrible head knock there. So we will speak to Roger Hannah very soon. What we could do in the meantime, Hugh, is round off your teaser if you don't mind. Let's give it a go.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The last 5 captains to get a league win against Celtic at Celtic Park are John Souttar, who did it earlier this month, Lawrence Shankland, who did it in 2025 and before that 2023 with Hearts, James Tavernier did it in 25 and in 2020. Joe Shaughnessy was the St Mirren captain when they beat Celtic in the COVID era, 30th of January 2021. And finally, the Aberdeen captain Graham Shinnie, a 1-0 win for Aberdeen on the 13th of May 2018.
Yeah, some good answers there. Well done if you got it right. Loads of you got close. Quite a few of you got it right, but the podium was as follows. In third place, Graham Smith. Well done to you, Graham. Second place, the Gin Dog 20. And the winner of the first half teaser, CEMCR 90. No idea what it stands for, but you knew your captains to win at Celtic Park, so well done. We'll have a second half teaser, a Who Am I, once the second halves get underway. Funnily enough, it's now half time for Roger Hannah.
It is. It's Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 0 at the break at Rugby Park. Quite an astonishing first half set against a backdrop, Gordon, of Kilmarnock. 17 games without a win. They lost 4-0 at Motherwell last week, and they're taking on an Aberdeen side who had scored 6 at home for the first time in 9 years last week. And it has been one-way traffic for Kilmarnock. They came flying out the traps. They could have been ahead after 4 minutes. Good play by Tyrese John Jules. They get clear in Dimitar Mitov. The Aberdeen goalkeeper forced him out to a really acute angle on the right. John Jules managed to get the ball back in at Ridgely and Polworth at the back post, and he should have done better than fail to direct his shot on target. Aberdeen skipper Graham Shinnie, he was booked a couple of minutes later for chopping down Bruce Anderson to stop a promising attack, but Kilmarnock just would not hold back. Michael Shunning-Larson came up from right back, turned onto his left foot and cracked a 20-yard shot. Dmitov did really well to get round the post after 11 minutes, but that only delayed momentarily the opening goal. Corner coming in from the left. Mitov actually got a good punch to it, but he put it back out to Greg Kelty. He delivered from the left, and the skipper Brad Lyons was there to glance a header beyond Mitov and the inside the far post for 1-0 in 12 minutes. That became 2-0 in 14 minutes. A ball played up to Tyrese John-Jules. He managed to knock it off to the side to his strike partner Bruce Anderson, and a crisp, firm right foot drive from the edge of the box fizzed past Mitov and into the bottom corner. Things got even worse for Aberdeen in 26 minutes. A really heavy fall for the centre half, Mats Knuster. He sort of landed on his head and neck area. He was down for a fully 8 minutes. There was 11 medical professionals on tending to him at one stage. He left on a stretcher on a trolley, and there were real concerns around the Scandinavian defender. Sivert Nielsen coming on for Aberdeen, but it just could not halt the push towards that Mitov goal. Kilmarnock desperate for a third goal before the break, and it always came twice in the 9 minutes added on at the end of the half. First, Greg Kelty managed to rob Liam Morrison, and his shot was blocked just on the 6-yard line, and then moments later another Kelly corner, big Ethan Brown reaching it at the far post with a header, and it was held by Mitov just underneath the bar. Peter Leaving, the caretaker manager, really struggling to get anything out of his team today. For Neil McCann, a first win just looks 45 minutes away at the break. Kelly 2, Aberdeen 0.
Yeah, delay to that one, and it's a fantastic start to the match for Kelly. So Kelly 2, Aberdeen 0, as you heard. Livy 0, Motherwell 2, St Mirren 0, Dundee 0. Those are your top flight scores. I'll quickly whiz through the rest if you are interested, just to see what's happening up and down the country as we reach the half-time intervals. Loads happening, so let's dip into the Championship, where it's Ayr 1, Wraith 0, as you heard. Dunfermline 0, Airdrie 1, Morton 1, Ross County 0, and Queen's Park 2 are Broth 1. In League 1, Alloa 1, Cove 0, East Fife 1, Montrose 2, Kelty 0, Hamilton 0, Queen of the South 1, Inverness Cally Thistle 1, and Stenhousemuir 0, Peterhead 1. In League 2, Annan 1, Clyde 0, Dumbarton 1, Edinburgh City 1, East Kilbride 2, Forfar 0, Elgin 2, Spartans 1, Stirling 1, Stranraer 0. If the English Premier League is your thing, goalless at the moment, Brighton, Everton, Leeds 0, Arsenal 2, and Wolves 0, Bournemouth 1. The second half is next.
Action as it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
About to get the second halves underway. In fact, most of them probably will be. It'll just be Roger Hannah who's a little bit behind. They tend to bring a good travelling support, Roger Hannah, to Aberdeen. I can't imagine they're taking this very well. Roger Hannah, can you hear us? He's just enjoying the music. He's just raving away there in Rugby Park.
Well, they've had their ups and downs, the Aberdeen supporters. You know, they've given the team a lot of stick at various points along the way this season, and that for them will be simply unacceptable. Kilmarnock have had a terrible season. They've had 2 wins all season. They bring in a new management team. It's crisis management. They lost 4 goals to Motherwell last weekend, and now they are quietly taking care of Aberdeen. Has to be unacceptable. The whole situation at the club with Farron Steele, Peter Leaving, caretaker manager, the whole situation is unsatisfactory. They're a bigger club than that.
Which is all well and good, but do you think Roger Hannah's away for a killie pie or one of those Empire biscuits that they give you, or both?
Lovely.
I'm having a look at Roger occasionally on a Monday. I'm going both.
Both. Some savoury and then sweet.
Yeah.
It's a nice selection, that there.
The 2 boys from Dumbarton I defeated on Beat the Pundit last night. They're in a bad way because it's Dumbarton 1, Edinburgh City 2 now, and Edinburgh City getting closer to putting Dumbarton bottom of the league.
Yeah, it's been a quick turnaround in that one. The goals going in the second tier and down. We've got nothing yet in the top flight. Fraser Wishart tells us Richardson and Mandron have come on for St Mirren, so kind of turning to the tried and tested, if you like. Sobowale and Etete not managed to come in and have the impact. Great game, by the way, in Elgin. Elgin 3, Spartans 2.
Wow.
Already 51 minutes on the clock, a 5-goal thriller, and I suspect we've not heard the end of it. Just kicked off between St Mirren and Dundee, as Fraser said. They are already quite a bit into Livy against Motherwell. State the obvious. Livy need a reaction quickly, try and get something, a bit of belief, whatever it is.
Yeah, certainly need a quick response, a quick goal. It'll be interesting how Davy approached that, because as a manager, and you go through that sort of a run, not that I've ever been on it, but you start to really think, right, okay, everything I'm saying at half time surely isn't working, but he needs the next goal. But see, just the way David's describing the game and the way Motherwell play football, I think there'll be more goals in it for Motherwell.
Well, that's the other thing, Cammy, is maybe no shame in, like, two things can be true at once. Livy's winless run, losing run is unacceptable. But everybody does acknowledge Motherwell are the best footballing team in the league, and they do have the bit between their teeth today, so it's hard to strike that balance between like blame for Livy and praise for Motherwell.
Yeah, there's no surprise in the results so far. Certainly when you look at the two clubs' whose forms, I think when you look at it from Livy's point of view, it's which we spoke about before the game, and your worries being a Motherwell fan is they've got to win at some point, but will they win at some point is the question now. Maybe
just on reflection though, this just not the type of game for them. Not even to say that Motherwell are outstanding, but just the style. No, but because they can't. Livy don't really have it in them to combat this style by the looks of it.
What I would say is that at the moment, and it doesn't look like Livy have the style to combat anything and beat any team in this league.
Yeah, but
because
there are teams they've come close within.
Yes, but
this has not been close yet.
Yeah, and again, you look at last week, certainly didn't end up close. 6-2. I know they got 2 goals up in Pittodrie, but to concede 6 goals in a game isn't acceptable. And then this could end up being 3-4 goals in the second half to Motherwell if Livingston don't approach it right. It's a real worry for Livingston, because I really can't see it turning around at this moment in time.
What was their one and only win?
Falkirk.
Because remember, they always beat Falkirk for some reason.
Well, that's amazing, because Falkirk are a treat to watch. They're now top 6, and yet they have the distinction, if I can call it that, of being the only team to lose to Livingston all season long. Amazing.
Living must be cash rich. They've not gave out any win bonuses. They must have fortunes.
Queen of the South 1, Inverness, Kelly Thistle 2. Highlanders have taken the lead. That's a trek, that, on a Saturday afternoon in January.
That's a big game in League One, actually.
When would you get back home to Inverness for there?
Oh, I do Ann in Inverness. Well, I have done plenty of times. So it's about 5 hours from Ann in Inverness. So it's similar from Dumfries.
Why did you go there, just to play?
To play, or I've done punditry stuff up there. So yeah,
couldn't pay me off.
11 o'clock tonight, say.
That's your Saturday night gone.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not all about that.
Yes, it is. Life's too short to waste it going up and down the A. Is it A9?
Well, there are a few roads before you get to that.
Yeah,
but yes, the M74
eventually first.
Yeah.
Livy do seem a bit more fired up in the second half. David Field says you can sense a bit of a rise in their level, so maybe they can get something, or at least give themselves a fighting chance. Have you got your teaser ready now, Hugh?
I am ready.
Okay, let's do it.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Cammy Bell and Marvin Bartley and Barry Ferguson. I have been managed by Derek McInnes and Robbie Neilson. I've won the Scottish League 1 and the Championship. Who am I?
Good question. Read that again for us.
I have played alongside Cammy Bell, Marvin Bartley and Barry Ferguson. I've been managed by Derek McInnes and Robbie Neilson. I've won Scottish League Division 1.
League 1.
And the Championship. Who am I?
Good question. See, whoever it is, do you think they ever get asked, who's the best midfielder you played with, and they go, look, listen, Barry Ferguson was good, but Bartley was just different class.
Yeah. No, I don't think that'll have
no chance. Just checking. Anyway, good question. At Clyde SSB, it is a race, so you have to get on quickly. Send us a tweet. And I like the first half teaser. It has its own benefits, but the second half's great because it's just one name. Just fire loads in and see what we can come up with. It's quite a spread. It's not really a clue to say you played with Cammy Bell. He played for about 43 clubs.
I know, I feel sorry for him.
We are racking these guys up though. See, between Cammy Bell, Tony Watt,
Yeah.
and Kenny Miller, who all regularly appear on this show. That's half the clubs in Great Britain covered and beyond.
And Kenny's an answer to every teaser.
He actually appeared a couple of times this week.
Yeah.
He was in last night.
Yeah, just shout Kenny and you've got a chance.
But what are the chances though? Because it didn't have that much to do with football last night. You needed to have a double letter in your name, like double L for Miller.
Oh.
To be fair, you had to be a top scorer at some point as well. But there you go. He's getting in all.
There are two. Kenny's always an answer, and Chris Commons is always an answer. So he was in
And they
there
were
last
both in
night
last
with double
night.
M.
Well, I can tell you the Who Am I is neither Kenny Miller nor Chris Commons. So get guessing. Stirling Albion 1, Stranraer 1. It's our old favourite just because he's got a good song. Darren Lang. Don't really play that so much anymore. Has that moment passed?
Yeah,
I think so.
We've lost.
I moved on to Claudio Braga, didn't we, this season? It's like we've only got room for one song.
Yeah, one song.
On a Saturday
one
afternoon.
song wonder.
Darren Lang, the guy who teaches one of Mark Wilson's kids.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Yes.
him.
Bang bang. Bang bang, Darren Lang. Anyway, Stirling Albion Stranraer 1-1 at the moment. Your second half teaser's up and running. No goals yet to tell you about in the second half in our featured matches. So still loads happening though. Lots to get through. And of course we're maybe only 40 minutes or so away from the phone lines being open, where we want all your thoughts on the final days of the transfer window. First and foremost, today's action, whatever happens, previewing tomorrow. There's loads to get through. It's a great card that tomorrow, isn't it? Just
wonderful.
Two really good games.
And also the fact that the Hibs Rangers game kicks off at 2 o'clock and Celtic at home to Falkirk kicks off at 3 o'clock. So come the second half at Easter Road, first half at Celtic Park, you've got simultaneous drama going on.
And tonight, how could we forget? Because there's that symbolism that could be attached to Hearts having the points on the board, being further ahead of both Celtic and Rangers than they are at the moment.
I think that'll be a tough one for Hearts. I know that Dundee United have had an in and out season, but it's got a look about it, Cammy.
Yeah, I was actually up at the game earlier this season, which ended up 3-2 to Hearts, which they scored in the last minute. And it was, if I'm right in thinking, it was certainly 2 set pieces, maybe possibly 3 set pieces that Hearts scored from. Finlay, I think, got the winner right in the last minute. But yeah, it'll be an interesting game.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Air of double their advantage. It's Anton Dowds, a low effort into the bottom corner. Has often looked dangerous when he's played for Ayr. They missed him through injury a lot last season, didn't they? But showing what he can offer. So Ayr now 2-0 up against Wraith Rovers and looking comfortable. Ibrahim Said's gone over the bar, then Maswin Nisi with a tame effort. So it is all again sort of picking up where it left off in terms of Motherwell attacks, but no way through, and it remains Livy 0, Motherwell 2.
And Fairmont losing in the Championship at the moment to Ayr Dre.
Down to 10 men as well, Hugh.
Yeah, Chris Hamilton sent off, just a couple of minutes ago.
Chance of Ayr leapfrogging Neil Lennon's Dunfermline, go back into the playoff spot.
Straight red card by the looks of it for Chris Hamilton. Obviously there's a few ex-Celtic managers in that division, and you look at Scott Brown, Neil Lennon. I'm sure the Celtic fans all preferred Mark Wilson to those two anyway, so they'd be happy to see him sitting above them in the Championship.
Well, you would probably say in the pecking list, decent players marks third, isn't he? He's no better than Brown or Lennon.
Yeah, I mean that was the joke. I don't know if that needs pointed out. Do you want to have a serious debate as to whether Celtic fans preferred Mark to Neil Lennon or Scott Brown?
Well, he was a fan's favourite, was he not?
There's no debate there.
Some things are lost on this guy, honestly.
Scored in cup finals.
St Mirren's first shot.
Captained them against Hibs when they won the league that year.
First shot on target for St Mirren, 57 minutes. It's Tanzer, and it's an easy save for John McCracken.
Well, we've got the top goal scorer on now. Mandron is on, all 4 goals of him. So he might be your best bet.
It is incredible now, Hugh, that strikers in the modern day game go through and they'll score 5-6 goals a season.
Well, as I said to you, he's the top goal scorer at St Mirren with 4. Tomorrow's the 1st of February.
What's happened to natural goal scorers?
Very good question.
Ever so slightly influenced, I wonder though, about 5 subs and strikers always coming off.
Yeah, but at least you get 1 or 2.
That's what I mean. I'm not saying it's acceptable to drop to 3 and 4 goals a season, but because we always talk about it, don't we? Look at the number of hat tricks now.
Yeah,
when the player's on 2,
he gets subbed.
They come off, and obviously goals need to come from somewhere, but in terms of like the number of out and out number 9s, most teams don't play with 2, they play with 1. So straight away you've got 50% reduction in the number of them that are out there.
You talk to kids now and their heads are filled full of nonsense by coaches, and you say, what position do you play, son? Centre mid. And you think, that's you finished.
No, it's not that. It's normally a number 10 or an 8 or 6 or
listen to you old guys moaning about the youth of today.
That was the best one. Anywhere in
Told
the
you
age.
I played in fact it was the last game of football I played a year ago. I think that was my lesson, just forget it. It was at Celtic Park. It was like a William Hill event.
Did you not score?
No, unfortunately. That was Ibrox the year before. Just so you're keeping track. And let's say the standard, and I would include myself, the standard was low,
Rotten.
low,
Right, okay.
like a basement level, embarrassingly low. And in the dressing room before it, people were going around, what position do you play? And with straight faces, guys were going, yeah, I'm an 8 or a 10.
Amazing.
And he's like, couldn't control or pass the ball once we got out on the pitch. And we're banging on about being an 8 or a 10. This just must have passed me by. I don't know when this, because by the way, they were older than you'd like to think.
That was
people using these weren't children. There must be the police station effect or something, I don't know. And I'm now sounding like an old guy moaning about it as well. But
that was their IQ they were giving you.
It was honestly so. One guy, I'll never forget it, an 8 or a 10,
and he couldn't control the ball. Give it a rest, mate.
Anyway,
what were you, a winger?
I was like just happy to be here, just whatever, just going.
What position did you play though?
So because I actually said I'll just start on the bench and you guys go on and enjoy it, and someone got injured after like 4 seconds. No, like seriously, I'm not joking, I'm not exaggerating. There was a kick off. The ball just got rolled and this guy hadn't touched the ball or anything. He just went to turn and that was it.
No.
Genuinely, like at seconds. I think I just went on and replaced him at left back alongside Big Marv.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was good fun. We've got a red card and Aberdeen's day goes from bad to worse. Graham Shinnie sent off. It's a straight red. He was on a booking anyway, and I'm not saying that makes it okay, because the type of offence and the punishment and the suspension and all that, but probably either way his afternoon today was going to end. The one thing that's interesting about it though is that VAR, I suppose, could look at this when it couldn't if it was a second yellow, but he's off. I don't think there's any sign of a reprieve, and Aberdeen are now 2-0 down and without their skipper.
The knock-on effect being that Graham Shinnie can't play against Celtic now midweek, so bad is going to worse for Aberdeen today.
Yeah, it's a tough afternoon, that.
Yeah, but it's good news for everyone.
See, this is what's interesting. VAR is now checking it.
Yeah, but it would be.
Whereas if it was a second yellow, and he'd have to go off.
Which is what is it, a challenge, I'm guessing?
Yeah, it's high on Greg Kiltie.
Okay.
But hold on, that red can still be reduced to yellow. Yeah?
And then he still goes off.
So he goes off anyway.
Off. Yeah.
Right, hold on. The ref's going. Let me make sure we've got that right. The ref is now going to the monitor.
Wow.
So the red card probably isn't going to stand in its own right. We'll get back to that. Roger can update us. A couple of changes for Motherwell. Aitor Björgolfsson, the new strikers, come on for Ibrahim Said. And just when you think Motherwell don't have enough options, Sam Nicholson comes back from a long time out of the squad and comes on for Elijah Just. That tells you, Gordon, Jens Bertolascu's clearly a fan, because he's been injured for ages. You would think that Jens Bertolascu had his sort of group, if you like, and his favourites and whatever, and but now Sam Nicholson back into the reckoning.
I forgot all about him. He's been out of the picture that long, but you're right, the manager, he just seems to has this knack with the squad, and he's bringing players in, he's using the squad brilliantly. That's what for me his strength is. So good opportunity for him, because he'll look and think to himself, I will really need to play at the top of my game here to have any chance of getting into this team.
Interesting one by referee Lloyd Wilson. He goes to the monitor, he sticks with his original decision and gives Graham Shinnie a straight red card. We're always saying we want refs to do it more if they believe in it. At the same time, we'll all see it back and we might say that it was daft to stick with it because it wasn't a red, so there's a bit of a no-win situation there, but either way, look, Graham Shinnie's been sent off
and is there for out of the Celtic game midweek, and it contributes towards a shocking day for Aberdeen, and also a very worrying day for Aberdeen with the injury that required so much on-field treatment, the player leaving with an oxygen mask over his face, and we of course wish him every good luck. But shocking day for Aberdeen on the park.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one with Lloyd Wilson sticking with his decision. But as you say, if he goes over to the monitor and absolutely feels he's got that spot on, then good on him. He stuck with his decision, and we don't see it often enough. And sometimes we do question that they just go over and bow down to what VAR have seen. So yeah, it's an interesting one that he has stuck with.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll all have a look and then argue about it in the days and the weeks to come, just like we did last week.
When do you and Mr. Collum reconvene?
Not sure, actually. Generally goes out. It's in the middle of every month, usually, I think, isn't it? The show, so a couple of weeks yet. And then
big names there. Austin Trusty, you need to go through that one 100 times. Graham Shinney. You have a busy day.
Yeah, well, I think the Trusty one will be top of the list for the last period so far. Still time for that to get knocked down the pecking order, depending on what madness we come up with.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, let's see what the rest of today brings. First and foremost, remind us of the question, Hugh. We'll start doing some wrong answers.
I have played alongside Cammy Bell and Marvin Bartley and Barry Ferguson. Been managed by Derek McInnes and Robin Nielsen. I've won Scottish League 1 and the Championship. Who am I?
It's a really good question. I like it a lot. Let's get some wrong answers out the way to help you along. You've got Joey wants to go Richard Foster.
No.
Jamie Dock thinks it could be Nicky Law.
No,
lots of people are saying Richard Foster, actually, which is Michael Donati's thrown that one in. Ewan Griffiths wants to go for Danny Wilson.
Well, no.
Mark wants a crack at Fraser Aird.
No.
And Wee Joe says Lee Wallace.
No.
He wouldn't have played with Marvin, would he?
No,
don't think so.
There we go. At Clyde SSB, keep your guesses coming. It is a good question. Anything from you, Gordon DL?
Not a clue. Not a clue today.
It's not like you.
No, I'm a bit tired. I was golfing today.
Oh, were you? All right, okay.
Good you come.
I noticed that you're very late in by your standards.
If anybody's out there, I'm going to give you an update on a traffic jammed at Motherwell. It's incredible at Strathclyde Park. It took me 25 minutes to get out of Motherwell.
I was worried for you because I come in. I'm always in. I come in last minute.
You know, I'm always first in.
Hugh's in here at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
I need to leave at 7 a.m.
exactly.
to get here.
Yeah. When I turned up to see you were not here, I was panicking for you.
I was a bit panicking myself because I was sitting in, and I know every sort of a street in Motherwell, but couldn't get out.
Ooh, got a red card, I think, certainly for St Mirren. But for some reason the old teleprinter's gone Jake Young, but that can't be right. I think Fraser's gone Mandron, led with the elbow, he says, which is I'm interested to see that, because quite often if you catch someone and it's accidental or whatever, usually ends up with a yellow. But it's gone down as a straight red for Mikel Mandron.
Came on as a sub at the interval. He's lasted 18 minutes then, and he's out.
Very interesting. VAR is going to check it, because I actually think I kind of struggle with the consistency on elbows a little bit, because you always talk about endangering opponents and whatever, and quite often they are, but you quite often see it ending a yellow, don't you, if it's deemed to be accidental. I think it might be Young, actually, Fraser's now saying. So just going to get another look at it. The referee is going to be in communication. I actually don't. No, do you know what? There's a suggestion that he's caught him on the ankle as well. So he kind of goes in, the arms up. I think there's maybe contact on the ankle. But anyway, we'll try and iron that out for you. That's the frustrating thing about it. It all takes quite a while, and nobody really knows what's going on sometimes. Referee is Nick Walsh. It's his first start as well, Jake Young, and he's going to head off for now.
It's amazing, isn't it? Since winning the League Cup against Celtic, St Mirren have just folded, collapsed.
Yeah, remarkable.
Yeah. But after they beat Motherwell in the semi-final, Hugh, they were the same. They didn't have a great bit of form up until the final. Then they won the final, and I thought they were brilliant, but struggling now.
Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
I'll tell you who's not struggling. Kilmarnock. All of a sudden, Kilmarnock 3, 10-man Aberdeen 0, and it's Tyrese John Jules with the third. That is a remarkable scoreline, bubbling away, and this could get even worse with Aberdeen down to 10.
Well, I take you back to last Saturday night, and the calls we had from Kilmarnock fans who were utterly convinced that they were going down, and the new management team were not cutting it. And now they're 3-0 up. They've won. I mean, the game's got half an hour to go, but they've won it. And for Aberdeen, what a day they've had. Captain sent off, 3 down to a team who have won 2 games all season.
So confirmation of that red card for Jake Young. And forget, I've muddied your waters and I apologise for it. Nothing to do with an arm. I think he's just caught him with the studs as he's gone in to try and chase his loose touch. Nick Walsh sending him off. VAR not spotting anything that could contradict it or point to a clear and obvious error, and off he goes. And now a chance for Dundee to try and kick on and win the game. I don't suppose Fraser Wishart, he's not had a classic afternoon so far, and usually when a player gets sent off, the game becomes even uglier, because St Mirren might just try and dig in and hold on.
Yeah, I think St Mirren will, again, when it gets to that situation, they'll just try and hang in there. They won't want to concede a goal and hopefully try and nick one, but it's an opportunity for Dundee. I mentioned it before the game. This is a chance for them to go level points with Dundee United, get further away from that relegation battle. So yeah, real opportunity for the last 30 minutes for Dundee.
What a result that would be if they could get a win, Cammy. You know, to go on to the same number of points as Dundee United just before they kick off against Hearts at Tannadice.
Yeah, and it felt like Dundee United were miles away from Dundee at one point this season.
I don't do loads of English updates, but just in case you've got a wee keen interest for whatever reason, financial or otherwise. Leeds 0, Arsenal 3. Victor Gyökeres with the goal.
Well, last week they said their bottle had crashed when they lost 3-2 to Man United, but Mikel Arteta back top of the league, consolidating.
Yeah, well, a very comfortable afternoon there at Ellen Road. Roger Hanna says Aberdeen need a new manager and 11 new players. So that's a nice assessment.
I probably wouldn't disagree with most of that. I know that everybody looks on paper like they've got a good squad, but they're just not cutting it for me. They're certainly needing a new manager, that's for sure. But who they're going to get, they'll probably go down the foreign route again.
That's a certainty.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting times, because I feel for Aberdeen supporters. You know, the journeys that they have to make most every second Saturdays, and you know, you're travelling from Aberdeen down to Kilmarnock, for instance, today, and you're watching your team down to 10 men getting turned over by Kilmarnock, who were struggling to win a game. It must be really frustrating.
Do you know, I know you're a big Aberdeen fan, lifelong, born in the city.
It's not Dave Galloway, is it?
No, Dave Cormack. But he lives in America. And he's brought in Fannin Steele, who, you know, has an eccentric, colourful, checkered past. And
can a guy not capture a penguin every once in a while without everyone bringing it up every 2 minutes? You know, hobbies anymore.
Not stealing penguins.
World's gone mad.
Alright, they'll get an owner who lives in America. They've got a man who steals penguins who is in charge of the football operation. They've got a caretaker manager. They're 3 down to the second bottom team in the Premiership. Aberdeen Football Club, come on.
I may have jinxed him earlier saying he really doesn't get caught with the ball at his feet anymore. Callum Ward, the Motherwell goalie, Muirhead goes to close him down. He tries to drag it it back with studs and take it past Muirhead, who nicks it off him, but Callum Ward, to be fair, then pounces down and gathers it in his gloves. So a real heart and mouth moment for Jens Bertolascu.
He'll not be trying that again. Just a little warning sign, because
did you ever have that one in your locker? Striker runs in, you just drag it?
Absolutely not.
Never ever try it?
No, I probably did. I can't remember, but I certainly would have been very nervous doing it.
Especially like that, you know, this. We praised the pitch earlier because it's playing okay, but you know, if it's a bit slippy or whatever.
I do remember when we were playing under Mixu Pat Line at Kilmarnock, it was total football. I remember playing out from the back, and we were at Easter Road, and we were playing, and Craig Bryson came to take it, and at one point, I'm not even lying here, he was dribbling across my goal with somebody chasing him 3 yards away from the goal line, and I was just standing letting him dribble across. It was outrageous, because I mean, if the attacking player had just nicked it, it would have went past me because it was so close in the goal. So yeah, take some risks.
Your hometown team have been levelled up again. Stannon 1, Clyde 1. Darren Hines with the goal. Hugh, you'll be happy. The Seagulls have soared. Brighton 1, Everton 0. Pascal Gross with the goal there.
They've been a bit iffy of late, Brighton. So they needed that one.
The grandkids still going, Hugh?
Yeah. Their dad's halfway up a mountain in Malaga at the minute, but they'll be there today.
David feels troublemaking here.
Why?
Emmanuel Longello's come on for Maswanisi. who's clapping the fans, because that's what subs do. But he's saying, is it a goodbye?
Oh no!
Just clap them when you come off.
Yeah, exactly. Appreciate.
If he starts crying and giving his shirt away and taking his boots off and all that, I'll be worried.
That's what I done my last game. I threw my shirt right into the
What about
crowd.
this?
And they get thrown back.
No.
What about this scenario? Martin O'Neill, 2 weeks ago, all the speculation. What if Maswanisi in the next 48 hours ends up across the road, as they say in Glasgow, at Ibrox?
Would you be surprised?
No.
I'll tell you what.
I would be now.
Would you?
I just think they would hold out for a really, really big fee that probably wouldn't get paid at this point.
Would somebody offer 4 million? What would Motherwell deal at 4 million?
But see, the thing is, how bad an end to the season, right, would Maswanisi have to not be able to get something similar in the summer?
No, I agree.
So I think that's the difference now. You're pretty close. We're February tomorrow. A couple of months' time. If you were absolutely on your knees and you were desperate, they've had the Lennon Miller money. I know, generally speaking, Motherwell can't turn down like £4 million, but you're not turning it down. You're probably just waiting till May to get it.
And I get that. So they're in a really strong position. So there might be a figure that comes in and potentially will, because he's in brilliant form. He's a really good player, and I think he's got a bright future. So there might be a figure that comes in, and as you say, they might just go, great, but we'll reassess it in the summer, because certainly that's what the manager will want to do.
If I was Andrew Kavanagh and Danny Rowe, I would take him, because can you imagine what that would cause?
Well, do you know what though? They have offloaded Finlay Curtis on loan, who's come on for his Killie debut after playing on Thursday night away in Portugal. So that maybe changes what I was about to say, Cammy. It felt like Rangers were more in the market for an out-and-out number 9, but maybe not then.
Yeah,
is there a space there?
I think there's always a space for a good player that's going to improve your squad, and I think he does that for Rangers. It's just whether they can get him in at the right price, because ultimately I think if you look at him as a player, you can progress him, you can sell him on again, he can go to the next level again, as long as you nurture him properly.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It's our featured championship match, and Wraith Rovers are back in it. It's a superb header from substitute Lewis Vaughan, and all of a sudden it gets a bit nervy for the home fans. Here 2 Wraith Rovers 1 with about 15 to go.
Yeah, that is nerve time, because quite simply Ayr can't afford to concede any more ground.
Was there not a video that went up for Wraith Rovers players doing like some sort of quiz, and they were asked who their club's all-time scorer was, and none of them had no idea? But I think Lewis Vaughan was maybe the only one that had your back.
Yeah, because I think he scored a lot of goals. I think he scored about 80 odd goals. I think he's about 100.
Couple hundred off you.
Amazing.
Dundee making subs. Remember, they have a numerical advantage in Paisley after that sending off for Young. Congreve and Yogan, who've both been excellent, but not necessarily today. Joe Bevan, one of the new signings, and Charlie Riley have come on. Can you see Dundee kicking on and winning that against the 10?
Yes, I can.
A huge result if they could.
I really can. I think they've got it in their locker to go and win that. Great opportunity for them. They need to go for it. 3 points for them would be absolutely brilliant this afternoon. Brilliant for them.
Real boost for Stephen Presley. To be fair to the man, came in, he was under pressure before they even played the game, because the Dundee fans didn't want him. But if he could get a win in Paisley today and go on the same points as Dundee United, Jim Good wouldn't be feeling hot.
Right now, Hugh, we all got asked the question after 2 o'clock: is St Mirren in a relegation fight? Well, the answer's simple. Yes, they are.
Well, if they lose today combined with a Kelly win, you'd have to. Remind us of your teaser, Hugh.
I have played alongside Cammy Bell, Marvin Bartley and Barry Ferguson, been managed by Derek McInnes and Robin Nielsen, won Scottish League 1 and the Championship. Who am I?
My Mickey says Andy Halliday.
Oh, no.
We can only fit so many Clyde One Super Scoreboard pundits into one question. William McBride thinks it could be Darren McGregor.
No.
Craig Meikle, Barry Mackay.
No.
Tony thinks Neil Alexander.
Oh, no.
Stevie Ewart thinks Jason Holt.
No.
This is when I know it's a good question, because the range of answers. Graham Evans wants to throw in Ian Black.
No.
Has Andy got it right?
I think there are. I'm sure I saw one there. East Kilbride should be home and hosed at the end of a tough week. Bobby McCluskey has made it East Kilbride 3-4-0. Ayr Crowd are getting a bit edgy. Vaughan's now had another header straight into the arms of Max Thompson. It's 2-1 in their featured championship game.
I need Bruni still to be there on the 4th of April. Come on, Bruni.
Fraser Wishart's not happy from an aesthetics perspective. He sent me a picture of pretty much the centre circle, and every single outfield player is in it.
Oh wow.
So it's not one for the purists there in Paisley. I don't think that'll matter to either team if they can get this one over the line, but maybe food for thought going forward. I actually feel like Dundee I think they've played some alright stuff in recent times.
Yeah,
I like those wingers, but then as I said, they've obviously had a bit of a quieter afternoon today.
And I think you mentioned they brought the boy Joe Bevan on as well, so he's a decent player. Is that the boy that was at Albion Rovers, if I'm right, and went down south to Burnley?
What about his mistake at Ibrox though last week?
Yeah, listen, he's still young, he's still got a bit, but I've seen him. He likes to go forward, he's got a brilliant left foot, so it's an opportunity for him.
I said East Kilbride were home and hosed. Forfar have scored immediately, so East Kilbride 3, Forfar 1. Martin Rennie with 10 to go there. Right, where are we in the late drama stakes then? Is it only St Mirren Dundee?
Yeah.
Then Livy have been better in the second half.
No,
giving them no hope whatsoever of a comeback.
Livy is not getting anything today against Motherwell. Absolutely not a chance.
Livy are down.
Oh wow.
They're 6 points away from Kilmarnock now. They won't even catch Kilmarnock, never mind anybody else. They are down.
Well, there we are. He's spoken.
Well, I think he's got every right to say that, because there's no evidence to say that there's a comeback and they're going to start climbing that league.
We need something though. We need a bit of excitement at the bottom, don't we? It's good that we've got at least the playoffs.
Yeah, the playoffs is going to be interesting because that result for Kilmarnock today is going to bring in a lot of hope, a lot of belief. They've brought new players into the building, they've got a new manager in place, so yeah, they'll be looking to try and get themselves out of there. And then look at St Mirren, they are getting dragged into it.
Alloa 1, Cove 1. Who knows? That's the game I gave up on a long time ago because they kept changing the scoreline.
Give it 5 minutes, so it'll be 3 each.
Apparently it's Alloa 1, Cove 1 for now. So late goals are starting to go in. Will we get any though in our featured games? That's the big question. It remains to be seen if there's going to be any high tension stakes towards the end, or if everybody who's in front cruises through. Surely Paisley's got something for us.
Does Stephen Presley feel disappointed if he doesn't get a goal against 10 men and win the thing?
Yeah, but sometimes it's difficult because St Mirren will be, camped in. They'll make it very difficult. They'll get everybody behind the ball. So it's up to Dundee. Find that little bit of magic just to break them down.
Look at some of the individuals as well, and it's obviously led to that. So Dan Lundalou's come on for Tanser. He must sort of embody the drop off in St Mirren. Look how much of a handful he was. He was brilliant against Motherwell in the semi-final. He was brilliant against Celtic. He looked when he first came up like it was another kind of gem that had been found, but him and various members of his team are just not managing to contribute the way they did.
Yeah, and I think it just tells a story of where they're at, as you mentioned. Individuals dropping off, the team dropping off, lack of confidence within the group. There's everything that points the direction of why they're so low in the league, and they're struggling to get any sort of rhythm in this season. It's been such a strange season, and we've been so used to St Mirren being so good, top 6 side. Obviously this season they've went and won a cup, but they've just been really, really poor, and lack of goals has really hurt them.
Something you don't see Dunfermline and Airdrie 2. Remember, Dunfermline have been down to 10 men. Lewis McGrattan makes it 2. Something you don't see very often. Aberdeen have now only got 4 of their starting 11 still on the pitch.
Wow.
They've made 6 subs, because one would have been a concussion sub.
Yep.
And Graham Shinnie's been sent off, so there's only 4 of the starting 11 still on.
Incredible stat.
You can't see that too often.
Consistent with a team who've lost their way, a club that's lost its way.
Think there's anyone out there that's got a record of teams that have made a concussion sub on the same day they had a sending off? Surely not.
No.
I'm just going to take Roger Hanna's word for it that very rarely happens. Johnny Katrumbis has gone off injured from Motherwell. That might be a bit of a worry. Liam Gordon has come on. Doesn't get quite as much game time these days. He's one of the ones that maybe has paid the price a bit for the Jens Bertel Askew way. He prefers to play Stephen O'Donnell and Paul McGinn and players who are not actually centre backs, because they seem to fit in a bit better. But Liam Gordon on anyway.
Motherwell midweek, who have you got?
You could quit Aberdeen. Is that no? That's
Celtic.
Yeah, so they've got a double header against Aberdeen coming up soon, don't they? In League and Cup, but midweek is Dundee away.
Oh, interesting game for
Dundee
you.
away and Aberdeen away.
What could happen? Midweek's fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Dundee will be. I suppose it depends what happens in the last 10 minutes or so here in Paisley. But they're a lot better than people thought they were earlier on in the campaign.
Well, Aberdeen, a man who steals penguins is in charge.
Stop it. I bet he regrets including that in his including it in his, was it his book or something it came from, I think, or I don't know. But it's the type of thing people are never going to forget about. Never let them live down, especially here. We hang on to everything here.
Correct.
Stenhouse Muir, Peterhead's a good game. Steny 2, Peterhead 2. Dale Carrick equalising for the Warriors with 5 of the 90 to go. You wouldn't bet against there being a winner in that one.
Going back to Aberdeen, I know he said 6 weeks, 6 months was his throwaway comment, but I feel like Aberdeen can't wait that long. They're not. If they go out the cup next week, it is a dead rubber of a season, but what they can do is lose a lot of their fan base. Over a period of time, if you give up hope, fans will start staying away and they'll get used to staying away. So they need to keep the feel-good factor that's been there over the last year from winning that cup within the club. They need to be careful of that.
I see Dave Cormack get fed up picking bad managers, so he got in another guy to pick bad managers.
And it doesn't add to your sell of, recruitment potentials in the next couple of days if you were going to, and wonder what's kind of left of the season, because I don't think there's any secret. It's a big budget. They spend a lot of money these days by kind of Scottish football standards.
I would guarantee you that Fannin Steele will be looking at foreign managers and will overlook. I know that Jens is a foreign manager, he's not British, but he'll overlook him because he works here.
Or does it even get to that? Would Jens Bertolasco take that job?
No.
There's any chance.
No. Would Stephen Robinson at this moment in time, the way St Mirren are going?
Yeah, but
he's the one that's probably being overlooked.
But it's stocks and shares. His stock has fallen.
I know it's fallen. Yep.
Yeah, but what more could he do with St Mirren?
Reached a peak when he won the cup, and now the share price has fallen dramatically.
I think there have been times factually where Aberdeen have come for Craig Brown and for Mark McGee to Fir Park. It's just very hard to imagine.
I'm with you. I think they'll go down the foreign route again. I think that's where they want to go. Whoever comes in has got a massive job. Of that, there's no doubt, because they've got a big squad, big money up there. They need better players in the building for me.
Jones for Cotterill is Dundee's change as they look to push. They're against 10 men. There's been nothing in the game. They maybe feel a bit regretful if they can not come away with more than the 1 point today. Obviously would have been a time. We're going down to Paisley. Getting a point would be seen as perfectly good, perfectly acceptable. This current St Mirren team not going great, and like we said, that numerical advantage for Dundee, can they make it count towards the closing stages? Very little happening in the second half. Maybe a combination of Livy have improved, Motherwell have dropped, the stakes also aren't really there. What did I tell you? Right, find me the guy.
Amazing.
Find me the guy
that
is providing the Alloa Cove score for the teleprinter. It's not 2-2 anymore. It's gone back to 2-1 Cove. But seriously,
oh my!
I've had to correct that about 8 times today. Morton 2, Ross County 1, maybe too little, too late, or is it the start of something? Alex Iakoviti in the 89th minute. That'll be a sore one for Stuart Kettlewell, who maybe thought he was starting to tick along.
I'm really sore that Airdrie are winning as well. So again, it's one that you would have thought that Ross County could go down to Morton, get a result, so it'll be disappointing if they don't, but also factor in that Airdrie win, it's going to pull them away from them.
Can't believe I'm so invested in Alloa Cove. I need to know what's going on.
Stuart Kettlewell, it's just not happening for them, is it?
But it was, that's the thing. Well, they'd picked up a couple of results, so it'd just be.
I think it's difficult as a club. They were so low this season, and it certainly didn't work under Tony Docherty when he went up there with the backroom staff that he managed to pull together with Callum Davis and John Robertson. So you need to give Stuart Kettlewell a little bit of time, and again, for me, all Ross County can do this season is survive. That's what they need to do.
Well, they fall
Producer Ryan, do we have 3 on the podium? We've only got 2 on the podium for the teaser, so let's give it like a kind of 2-minute warning, Hugh. Give me the question, I'll give out some big clues.
I have played alongside Cammy Bell, Marvin Bartley and Barry Ferguson. I have been managed by Derek McInnes and Robbie Nielsen. I've won Scottish League 1 and the Championship. Who am I?
Here is your huge clue. If you want to get on the podium, listen carefully, fire up that tweet. This is a big clue. He's been one of the standout defenders in the Scottish Premiership this season.
Oh, I've got it.
There you go, told you it was a big clue. At Clyde SSB, come on, chance for you to claim the final spot on the podium. Gordon DL, it took a very obvious clue for him to get over the line,
and he's got it.
He's got it. Fraser Wishart's now very chuffed with himself. He's now reminding us that he predicted it was going to be 0-0.
Yeah, I bet
is that how he cheers himself up under these difficult circumstances?
See if you're going along to a game, you're going, do you know, I'm really looking forward to this afternoon, having a good family day out. You go to walk in and you see Wishart walking in with the weekend. You go, oh no.
I think he's worked really hard to shake off that reputation. I don't think he always gets 0-0s anymore. I'll need to do the research.
A big 0-0 guy, written all over him. Negativity. Wishart. That was his middle name.
Bit of pushing and shoving at Ayr in the middle of the park. Both sets of players. Ross Hardy's flashing the yellow. Sean Want, Max Thompson, I think Scott Brown as well. As managers tend to get involved. Wraith pushing for that leveller.
Scott Brown was sent to the stand last weekend as well.
Yeah.
Where at?
Who are they playing now? But he
got sent by
Partick Thistle. Yeah,
got beat by
sent to the stand.
Still nobody, I don't think, with that answer. Come on, one of the standout defenders. Oh no, Scott Brown, the Wraith player, of course. There's a Wraith player called Scott Brown. He's the one that's been booked.
Oh no,
there we go.
Another goal at Alloa.
Amazing.
No, there hasn't.
Can't read it out.
Alloa 2 be 3-3 soon.
Alloa 2, Cove 2. If you believe that, you'll believe
Score
anything.
correction coming up.
Full time in Livingston, David Friel.
Yeah, I know the score here, definitely. Livingston 0, Motherwell 2. I don't really think this result will surprise anyone, Gordon. Another win for Motherwell, another defeat for Livingston to Manda Wasmanisi. Now in 18 Motherwell goals for the season, they're 8 points clear of Hibs in 4th place. They're only 2 behind Celtic as well. Both teams play tomorrow, obviously. Wasmanisi no doubt is going to be at the centre of more transfer speculation in the coming days, but he again showed his value and his worth to Motherwell. He was given a standing ovation on his way off. I was only joking about it being a farewell wave to the Motherwell fans. I think unless a crazy bid, you would expect him to stay at Fir Park, but we will see in the next few days. Motherwell were excellent. They made it 6 wins in a row over Livingston, but just another nightmare day for Davy Martindale and his players. They're now 6 points adrift at the bottom after Kilmarnock won. It's a long way back at this stage. Livy actually had the first chance of the game. Conor McLennan should have done better. He hesitated when he had a clear shot and goal. Callum Mord made a superb save. It was really costly miss as Motherwell then made the breakthrough in 5 minutes. You know the drill by now. Motherwell start from the back, patient passing. Elijah Just finds space. He clipped across into the box. Masronisi looked his header over Jerome Prior. Really good goal. Motherwell pushed for a second. They had decent efforts through Paul McGinn, Callum Slattery, Elijah Just hit the post before Masronisi then made it 2-0 in 28 minutes. Slattery picked up a loose ball, played in the striker, simple pass. The finish was anything but simple, a brilliant curling finish into the corner. Masronisi had 2 attempts at getting his hat-trick before half-time, and then had a tame effort saved after the break. Motherwell weren't as dominant. Credit to Livingston, they showed a lot of effort, a lot of commitment, but they didn't really trouble Motherwell too much. Callum Moore, the goalkeeper, did take a risk with some skill after being pressed by Robbie Muirhead, but he managed to recover just in time. Masronisi was then rested before the end as Motherwell clocked up yet another clean sheet. That's been a real feature of their season. Everything's going rosy in the garden for Motherwell, but these are worrying times for Livingston. Full time, Livingston 0, Motherwell 2.
You all predicted Livy to lose against Motherwell. I think most people did, and it went that way. Almost like the kind of perfect low fuss score line as well, isn't it? It's not a battering. It wasn't arrow. It was just that 2-0, job done first half, and move on.
Do you know what I look at right away? Because I always fancy Motherwell to score goals. Clean sheet again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what? That is a team that's in banging form. You know, clean sheet after clean sheet, 9 at home. They go away to Livy. Yeah, they're expected to win it, but another clean sheet, they get 3 points. They are going brilliantly.
Barely gave up a chance, Cammy. You know, that very, very early one. And then when Callum Ward took a chance and tried to dribble past an attacker, but very rarely troubled.
Very comfortable. It's a comfortable afternoon, and they'll be delighted with that. Again, a game that they've controlled for large parts, and they've managed to win with no fuss. But Daz is right. Listen, you look at the goals that they've conceded, 17 this season, and that's why they are where they are. Listen, it's all great scoring these goals, but you've got to keep the back door closed, and they're absolutely doing that. They've been brilliant.
It's a real kick for all the predictors who thought that the nice play would lead to conceding loads of chances, and it might just be a balance that you need to put up with. That's been the most impressive bit about it, arguably.
But that's why you've got to give full credit to the manager, because I think the control they have in games is just incredible. The players take a lot of credit as well, because they've bought into it, they've understood the way he wants to play, and they've absolutely went with it. They work ever so hard. I'm pretty sure they will every single day on the way they want to play. But yeah, listen, a brilliant side, a great team to watch, and yeah, another win for them.
Let's get to the most important thing. If St Mirren Dundee finishes 0-0, Angela is 1 out of 3. She needs a Rangers draw at Easter Road and a Celtic win. She's got 1,800 quid.
Indeed, the pundit predictor. I'll round off the teaser in a second. Let's go full time in our featured game in the Championship. Ayr United against Wraith was watched by Alison McConnell.
Yeah, it finishes here. Ayr United 2, Wraith Rovers 1, and it's a result that puts Ayr United back in among the playoff places, courtesy of a goal in each half from Ben Dempsey and Anton Dowds. They finished this one, however, hanging on after Lewis Vaughan had headed Wraith back into it. And the latter stages of this game were fraught for a home support who had to endure a Wraith onslaught, with 10-man Dunfermline losing as it stands at Airdrie. It means that Ayr leapfrogged Neil Lennon's side and moved back up to 4th. They're 5 points behind Arbroath, having played one game fewer, and this win will give them a bit of breathing space against Wraith, whom they are now 4 points ahead of. There was more good news too for Scott Brown. Max Thompson showed up well in this game, marking his debut with a couple of decent saves, particularly in the second period, as Wraith desperately tried to find a way back into the game. The pick of the bunch would probably be a header he pushed away to deny Ewan Wilson from close range, and that came at a stage just when Wraith were desperately pushing for a foothold back into it. Ben Dempsey had sent Ayr into the break at the interval ahead after that first half free kick, with Dowds then doubling Ayr advantage just a few minutes before the hour mark. He collected from Curtis Main before spearing a low left-footed effort into the bottom corner. Wraith got back into it when Vaughan beat Thompson with a header, converting Jordan Docherty's cross. It set up a tense and nervy finale to this one for Ayr. Vaughan had a header straight into Thompson's arms and then sclaffed an effort just wide as the home crowd's frustration grew. Those frustrations were reflected in a bit of a melee, some pushing and shoving in the middle of the park, with Ross Hardy flashing the yellow card to various players. Wraith kept pushing, Ayr held firm. It finishes here. Ayr United 2, Wraith Rovers 1.
Yeah, big win for Scott Brown's Ayr United, as I think you're obliged to call them these days. He will be happy with what he witnessed there. Still waiting on the full-time whistle. There will be a bit of tension in the air, I suspect, in Paisley. There's been a few stoppages. We're maybe about a minute or so away. Let's round off the teaser whilst we can. Hugh, yeah, let's do it.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Cammy Bell, Marvin Bartley and Barry Ferguson. I have been managed by Derek McInnes and Robbie Nielsen. I've won Scottish League 1 and the Championship. I'm Craig Halkett.
Craig Halkett, well done if you got it right. RFC Rumours was in third place, possibly after the big clue that we gave, but that's fine. It is all about getting the end result. In second, Kyle B, 1872. And the first place, the winner, the bragging rights holder of the second half teaser, is Buffalo Alberts on Twitter there at Clyde SSB.
I was waiting for Bill.
Full time in Paisley. Fraser.
Yeah, St Mirren 0, Dundee 0. You can tell by the tone of my voice. Wasn't a classic. It looked like 0-0 from early on. It was a very, very poor game. Plenty of endeavour, but perhaps as often happens when teams are near the bottom of the table, the form is gone. Both sides are almost reluctant to take a chance to create anything, take on that man. Went for the safety all the time and looked short of confidence. Pretty much gloss over a poor first 45. Dundee had spells where they moved the ball well, but only one shot on target. Ethan Hamilton from 25 yards didn't catch it cleanly. but then straight at Shamal, George, Cameron Congreve, even Richard King at either end had decent chances, completely miskicked when they were in front of goal. Hopefully much better in the second half. Mandron Richardson on, Stephen Robinson clearly not happy. And Saints were certainly a bit better in the early stages. Scott Tanzer looked a left foot volley straight into McCracken's arms. 52 minutes, that was St Mirren's first shot on target. 61 minutes, a scramble in front of the Dundee goal. A corner fell to Mikael Mandron, 16 yards out. He kept his shot low, it ricocheted around the 6-yard box. Alex Gogic and Phillips couldn't turn the ball home. Then 3 minutes later, a real blow for St Mirren. Jake Young making his first start since he signed from Stevenage, late with a challenge on Danda in the middle of the park. And VAR confirmed red card by Nick Walsh, who's been booed by the St Mirren fans here in front of me. Dundee, as expect, began to dominate possession. St Mirren with 10 men happy to drop off. Mandron up front of his own. Fraser with an excellent clearance to stop Simon Buddy tapping the ball. And then St Mirren's two subs combined to create a half chance. Lundulu did really well on the left hand side, crossed the front post. Mandron was beyond the front post, got his foot to the ball, but it went wide. But that was it. Really poor quality in the last third by both teams. A relief to everyone, and the full time whistle was blown. But with Kilmarnock winning, it closes ground in these two, and St Mirren really need to find their form and goal scoring quickly, or they are going to get dragged into a relegation battle. In fact, they are now in a battle with Kilmarnock for that 11th place. Full time here in Paisley, St Mirren 0, Dundee 0.
Yeah, that's shaking things up at the bottom. Well, it's about to be shaken up when we get a full time whistle from Kilmarnock. We're still a few minutes away from that, so let's reflect on what we've seen there. It's a very drab, nothing outcome that for St Mirren, isn't it? You can hear Nick Walsh getting booed, the red card. Like, we'll moan about everything. VAR didn't see enough to overturn it for as well, so it'd be interesting to get a look at it. But either way, it's drop points again.
Yeah, it is. It was an opportunity for St Mirren being at home to try and get 3 points on the board. They failed to do that again. And again, you flip it and you look at Dundee. When St Mirren go down to 10 men, was that an opportunity to really put their stamp on moving up the pitch? They couldn't find a breakthrough. So yeah, it sounded as if it was a game where both teams kind of cancelled each other out.
17 goals in 23 league matches. That's pathetic. And that's the reason why they're gradually slipping into a situation where they could end up in the playoffs. And you don't often get a team who win a major trophy and are in the playoffs in the same season.
Yeah. St Mirren are really in a dogfight, you've got to say. But the winners today, Kilmarnock, we had call after call, leaving Motherwell early, guys on the train, going home, disgusted with the performance, everything about their club, thinking they're relegated. It's been a good day for Kilmarnock, a real bad day for Aberdeen.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to hearing from Roger Hannah as to just how it all ended there. He is he's still about 2 minutes away, I would say, so we'll hang on. What we'll do right now, though, is remind you that this is the time. Get in touch. What are you thinking tonight? 01419511025. So if you've watched the game today and you want to react to it, we'd love to have you. St Mirren fans, are you in that relegation fight for sure now? What did you make of the red card? Have you got a sense of grievance there? Where is it going wrong at the moment? Motherwell fans, it's pretty easy. Every week you win, you keep a clean sheet. That's the way it feels at the moment. You look at the points gap between yourselves and Celtic, it's not very big, but of course they can respond tomorrow. So how are you feeling about your aspirations toward the end of the season? Killie fans, once it's done, I'd love to hear from you, because you were all on furious this time last week. I'd imagine there has been a quick turnaround in the mood inside 7 days. And then on to the big picture stuff, that transfer window. Celtic fans, you're now down to 2 days. Are you confident you're going to get the business done? What are you making of some of the latest rumours? How many people, I wonder, are going to phone in the back of Tawanda Maswanishi's double today from both sides of Glasgow and suggest that they should get the chequebook out for the Motherwell forward? We've got the games tomorrow to preview as well, so please give us a call right now. We'll get the calls lined up and then we'll speak to you once we get a full-time whistle from Kilmarnock. So 0141 951 1025. As always, we will live stream this section of the show as well, so if you've just been waiting patiently, almost desperate to really see Hugh Keevins' face on a Saturday evening, you will get that reward very, very soon. Roger Hannah cannot be far away. This is about as much padding as I've got in me, Hugh Keevins. But he's nearly there.
We should go back to the guy who steals penguins, who's now in charge of Aberdeen. Daz. He steals penguins, that takes the biscuit.
No. Do you know the worst about that is?
He's been waiting for it all day.
Yeah, it's bad enough, but he's had that for half an hour. Just waiting for the right moment to release it. Full time Roger Hannah, just in the nick of time. Take it away.
Kilmarnock 3, Aberdeen 0. Kelly have ended a 17-game winless run stretching back 4 months, Gordon, and they have built a 6-point gap over Livingston at the bottom of the table. It was thoroughly deserved, a first win under new manager Neil McCann. They took the lead after 12 minutes. A corner punched out by Dimitar Mitov. It reached Greg Kelty. He delivered the ball back in, and a lovely glancing header by the captain Brad Lyons beyond Mitov and inside the far post. It was 2-0 in 14 minutes. Tyrese John-Joseph was outstanding from start to finish. Tear up strike partner Bruce Anderson for a low drive from the edge of the box against his old side. Aberdeen's afternoon just unravelled. They lost centre back Mats Knuster to a horrible head injury when he landed heavily on the synthetic surface. It was an 8-minute delay. There were 11 medical professionals around him, and he was stretchered off on a trolley to be replaced by Sievert Nielsen. But Aberdeen could not get into the game, and their perils continued 6 minutes into the second half. Skipper Graham Shinney, who had been booked earlier on for a trip on Anderson, landed a straight red card for an over-the-top lunge on Greg Kelty. VAR official Greg Aiken, he sent referee Lloyd Wilson to the screen to have a look, but Wilson stuck by his decision, a straight red, and the Dons went down to 10 men. It got worse for him in 59 minutes, and this was the pick of the goals. Anderson wide on the right, knocks the ball into the box. There didn't seem to be too much danger, but a terrific spin and shot by John Jules from 12 yards, right-footed, high, past Mitov for 3-0. At that stage, young Finlay Curtis, on loan from Rangers, was sent on for a debut replacing Greg Kelty, and it was a case of just how many. Mitov making saves, and Willie McKenzie, the substitute, chipping just wide when he should have hit the target. It's a first win for the new Kelly boss. Oh my goodness, Gordon, how Aberdeen need a new boss. Dave Cormack and Lutz Van den Steel, over to you, because this cannot continue. The Dons were dismal. They now face Celtic on Wednesday night, and their Scottish Cup defence sees them take on informed Motherwell next Saturday night. They could be in the bottom six and without their cup by next Saturday night. Final score here at Rugby Park: Kilmarnock 3, Aberdeen 0.
Right, let's do it then. What's on your mind? Is it today's football, good, bad, or somewhere in the middle? Is it the transfer window, your hopes and worries and fears and all the rest of it for the next couple of days? Or is it tomorrow's action? You decide. That's the beauty of it. But we would love to hear from you. You make this part of the show, of course. It's 0141 951 1025. Call us right now. You can also fire up the live stream as well on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you normally get it. And we will see you, sort of, in a minute.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls.
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history.
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls.
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history.
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
It's that time on a Saturday where you call us and whatever you want to share, you do it to Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon DL. I love the immediacy of it. I like the notion. We're proud of it that you come out of a football game and you think, I just need to phone that lot and tell them what I witnessed today. St Mirren fans, I want to know how much trouble you think you're in, or if you're still feeling that it will be a case of looking up come the end of the season. You might have gripes about the red card, you might not, so give us a call. Motherwell fans, it's just another week where it's just so fuss free. You score 2, you concede none, and you close in on Celtic, who play tomorrow. In amongst that, if we're going to link today's football to the transfer window, it's a double again for Tawanda Maswanise. Will he still be a Motherwell player come Monday night? If it's not, is it Glasgow, either side of it, that he'd be in demand? You tell us. Same number, no matter what is on your mind. We can preview tomorrow's games, whatever you like. There's loads to get through. Hugh Keevins.
St Mirren's become a real worry. They started the day 5 points above Kilmarnock. It's now down to 3 points. They are in a terrible run of form. They don't score goals, and if you don't score, as we all know, you don't win matches. So they're in real bother. Aberdeen Football Club, the once famous Aberdeen Football Club, in absolute turmoil. Roger Hanna saying not only do they need a new manager, they need new players. That's an awful result for them. They have Celtic midweek. They have no manager, and their identity is non-existent now as Aberdeen Football Club. Big trouble for them.
Yeah, they had a great opportunity today to put a little bit of pressure on Falkirk, because I think most people outside Falkirk would fancy Celtic at home tomorrow. But all credit to Kilmarnock. Neil McCann has been saying, look, the result's coming, and the result came today. Kilmarnock fans who were so angry last week will be a lot more pleased tonight. They'll enjoy their Saturday night for once for a long time. You look at Livingston, for me, they just cannot, they don't even look like they're going to win now. And that's the problem. Even at home, people used to say it's a hard place to go. No, it's not. Motherwell went there, schooled them today. They're in real trouble. Look forward to a game tonight.
Yeah, and lots to get through tonight and tomorrow, and then on to the transfer window closing on Monday. Ewan is a St Mirren fan. What did you witness today, Ewan?
I wasn't at the game myself, but it's just throughout the season, I'm a season ticket holder, and it's just abysmal. It's so one-dimensional. There's nothing can change. It's like we've got the game plan of the kind of counter-attacking football, sit back, but as soon as that doesn't go to plan, there's nothing else. It's just flat. And since the Cup, there's been nothing on offer. There's no entertainment with it.
How worried are you, or do you still see yourself as being better than the teams below you, and therefore the season will just peter out, or do you have those worries that it's a relegation battle?
I think Livy will go down. I'm not concerned about Livy, but I think it's all to play for in between. But I think we might be in a slightly better place in Kelly, but it's just the issue is we're not getting like these nitty-gritty results out, and that's it. It just needs to improve. I don't care as long as we're getting points on the board. I don't care how we win. That's it.
Depends how much of a game changer Kelly's result today is. The arithmetic tells you that it's a stupid question I've asked, not for the first time. How can you not lump St Mirren in with Kelly now after today?
St Mirren are 3 points better off than Kelly, 3 points worse off than Dundee. They're caught there in that no man's land. But Ewan's right. There's been, since the cup final against Celtic, there's been a total collapse. And the lack of goals has to be a severe worry. Ewan talks about one-dimensional football. I find it hard to understand because they had 3 top 6 finishes under Stephen Robinson, and now they're fighting, and I mean fighting, to stay in the division.
Their style has really worked, Cammy. They've been so good at it. So is it that when it's a club like St Mirren and they're performing the way they have, inevitably it just can't last forever? Is there a bit of that, or is there a stylistic thing that once it stops becoming effective? Because I know St Mirren fans, Stephen Robinson, his coaches, the players, everybody was very offended earlier in the season, I think, when people spoke about the style, and they took great delight in talking about how it worked against Motherwell in the semi, and they deserved to brag about that on that day. But in the league, it isn't working the same anymore.
Yeah, listen, I've absolutely no problem with St Mirren's style because it's been successful, and they've got the players to play that style. So ultimately you understand why Stephen Robinson sets them up that way. Where St Mirren are failing at the moment is a lot of players are underperforming, and as a team they're low in confidence. The group, they're very low at this moment in time, so it's difficult to turn that around. Would they be able to change style at this time of the season? Probably not. They need to tweak it. They need to get a result, because ultimately, as I say, I think the confidence within the group will be really low. But they do need to worry about Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock have brought in 3 signings, and certainly when you look at Finlay Curtis, I think he'll be a very successful signing for Kilmarnock. They've got that big result today. They kept a clean sheet, because that's been Kilmarnock's problem this season. So I think St Mirren need to be a little bit worried about them, but I still feel as if they've got players that they can turn this around, but they need to do it quickly. They can't just keep going on the road that they're on at the moment.
Have you seen the red card back? You and the fans were booing off the referee. Is there any hard feelings there, or?
I've not seen the red card, no. But at the end of the day, it's not even about a game like today. Obviously, we need to get a result against Dundee. But you go back to the Hearts game, when we were up a man for most of the game, and we didn't. I don't think we offered anything. Again, that goes back to what I'm saying about the one-dimensional. We're a man up for most of the game, and we can't even create decent chances. And obviously, that was against Hearts, who are the main team. But regardless, there's no change. It's sticking to that system and then continuously going, nah, we'll just continue. Even if there's no, we should bring on an extra winger or bring an extra attacker, go to a back 4, go and change it from the back 3/5, put more people in the midfield, whatever. It's just a case of we stick to what we play, and it's not working.
Can you see St Mirren dragged? I mean, are they in already?
Yeah,
we passed that stage.
Yeah, I think they're no doubt about that. It just shows you how football changes. We sat there and witnessed the St Mirren manager, players, the fans all, with the joy of winning that cup, and deservedly so. I thought they were brilliant on the day. You would never have sat there and thought, they could be in a relegation fight. You look at their record, they're not winning games, they're not playing particularly well, they're not scoring goals. They are banging trouble just now for the playoffs, no doubt about it.
But yet, Ewan, you would take 10th place in a cup win in a season, would you not?
Yeah, I think the main thing is getting the silverware was one thing, but I think going for the top 6, obviously who wouldn't have liked to see that again, but I think the silverware makes up for it as long as I think we could still potentially, if we pick up form, best of the rest, but it's tough to look at now.
Yeah, there's no doubt you're not taking a top 6 finish over a cup. We've praised St Mirren for it, and they get European qualification, but teams like that, you want to win silverware.
No, 100%.
Obviously, you then have the reality of it. I get what you mean. So for the next few months, even if you can secure safety, it maybe just kind of peters out a bit.
Yeah, listen, I think they absolutely take the cup win in a season, but again, I think what Ewan's saying is if they can finish 7th or 8th, then it makes it more acceptable rather than being in this sort of relegation battle that they're in at the moment. So there's no getting away from it. The cup win's massive because it's a memory for a lifetime for a lot of people, and they've been able to experience that as a St Mirren fan. So they're never going to be able to take that away. They'll just want their team to kick on and get away from this relegation trouble that's there at the moment, because that puts uncertainty about the club where they go next season if they're in a relegation battle.
Well, what's maybe changed things, because for a long time the bottom 2 just kept on losing, but Kilmarnock not only changed that today, they changed it emphatically. Simon is a Kilmarnock fan. Exactly a week ago, Simon, we had, by our standards, a lot of Killie fans phoning in furious with what was happening. What a turnaround. Yeah, hi to Gordon's, Hugh and Legend. Hope you're all doing very well. Come on, Simon.
Like that, Simon. Thanks, Simon.
I'm in a good mood and throwing out compliments. So the start of the Motherwell game last week, I thought, we started really well. I think most of the pundits and Andy in the studio on Monday said the same thing. The goal, just after we got our goal disallowed, things just petered out and it seemed like our heads dropped, and when Motherwell scored, we just lost the plot, and I think that was the mental fragility that, that kind of lose and run brings. But today we started off really well again. The intensity was great. We're getting the ball down in the depth. And the difference is we got not only one, but we got 2 goals right at the start at a really crucial time. And that gave it to us confidence. And some of the football we're playing today, I think, Aberdeen fans would argue that if that had been 6-0, I don't think any Aberdeen fans would be complaining. It was a completely dominant performance. And hopefully that's the monkey off the back now. As I said earlier, it's been a long time since I've enjoyed a Saturday night, 119 days to be precise. So yeah, I'll be enjoying it tonight.
And in this, because football can do this, Simon, in the space of, and I know we're like the knee-jerk capital of the world either way, but in one afternoon, has this changed your thoughts on the likelihood that you escape the bottom two?
I don't know about that yet. I think we've still got some signings we need to make. I think the 3 signings yesterday were really positive. Joe Hugill signed from Man United on a permanent deal. I think he came on and showed really good glimpses. Obviously, everyone talks about Finlay Curtis. I think he'll be an excellent signing. And the Moldovan/Irish lad was signed on the wings. He's got a bit of pedigree as well. So that's fixed the problem that Stuart Ketwell left with having no wide players. I still think we need a dominant centre-back. I thought our defenders were better today. The young boy Ethan Shelty-Brown, who's very on the verge of the Canada squad for the World Cup, and he's playing like it. He's just signed a new long-term deal as well. And to play as well as he has recently in such a bad defence speaks volumes. But one thing I wanted to just bring up is that Max Stryjek had open heart surgery towards the end of November, and he was on the bench today. But that man is an absolute miracle, an absolute hero. And you're just delighted to see him back as well, and hopefully he gets playing.
A bit of a superhuman effort.
Simon.
There can't be many Irish Moldovan guys kicking about.
Simon, random question, not to deflect from your great result today.
Yeah.
Aberdeen Football Club, you remember when they used to mean something. What were they like today?
They were flat from the start. I think the first 2 minutes they put the ball out of play twice. The passing was really off. They looked like a shadow of themselves. And we were a bit concerned because obviously, they scored 6 goals last week, and with Kilmarnock's defence, you're going into the game thinking a bit like, I'm not sure could they do damage, but yeah, they looked like they were a team who didn't have any real direction, and without tempting Marvin Bartley to come after me, I don't think Livingston really are the best example to go up against. But just today on Kilmarnock again, one final point. I think it was just see us actually play with the ball on the deck as well and getting some crosses into the box. I think Tyrese John Jules was fantastic today. Like, absolutely ragdolled the Aberdeen defenders. Great first touch to set off Anderson for his goal. He took his goal really, really well. I think one of the problems is we've not had that width in the team, and now we've got it. The boy Shoning Larson as well looks like a really good addition. Can play right or left back. I still think it's going to be difficult. But the St Mirren fan who was on before saying they're in a better position in Kilmarnock, in terms of points, maybe, but this has been one of the worst Kilmarnock teams in a long time. And St Mirren haven't beaten us in the league, lost at Rugby Park, and only managed a 0-0 when we had Chris Doolan, and we were in free fall at St Mirren Park like a month or so ago. So I still think we can catch St Mirren. I probably think we can still catch the 2 Dundee sides as well, but it's going to take us a few signings in the next few days. I hear that Alan Forrest might be one that could be leaving Hearts, and we are one of the teams in for him. I think that would be one of those signings that could change things. But if we continue to play the way we did today, then we've got every chance. But it's going to be a long time, and I think I really wish we weren't going to Ibrox on Wednesday night, to be honest with you. But stranger things have happened.
Yeah, that's the thing, because that's a tough fixture, and there are no guarantees. But Cammy, with your Kilmarnock hat on, do you think today does have the potential to be a bit of a turning point?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a big moment for Neil McCann, and again, I think the signings play a part in that as well, because when the Kilmarnock fans see the signings that have came through the door, I think there's real belief there. I mentioned it before, Finlay Curtis for me I think is a fantastic player, so a really good signing. Simon mentions Alan Forrest. If Kilmarnock could get their hands on Alan Forrest, then that would be a brilliant sign as well, because he mentions that wide area is where it's hurt them. They've lost Danny Armstrong, they've lost Fraser Murray, Matty Kennedy's been out all season, so all these players have been taken away from Kilmarnock, and that's where the success was built over the last few years. So yeah, listen, I've got a little bit more hope for Kilmarnock going forward now.
Thank you, Simon. What about the rest of today's action, or Tawanda Maswanisi, or the transfer window, or tomorrow's games? It's a great time to call. We'll get you on next.
It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line 0141 951 1025.
Gordon Dalziel is alongside Hugh Keevins and Cammy Bell, and we're looking back on today's action. We're going to preview tomorrow. We've got the transfer window, so the guys are spinning a few plates. Let's see which plate John in Moss Park is most interested in. Take it away, John.
Hello, Gordon and the panel. Gordon Dalziel will remember me for Thursday when I was on about signing Wasanisi.
Yeah.
Celtic have a habit of waiting to sign a player. If Rangers will go for him, then they'll try and put in for him. But I can't understand, Gordon panel. If he scored 2 more goals a day, that will obviously increase his price that Motherwell will be looking for. I don't understand. We've got money. Whatever it costs, just go and buy him. I know what you were saying earlier on that we've spent 10 million on our 2 wingers. We basically are dud. So even if it costs 10 million for this guy, we've already spent 10 million on Balikwisha and Tenecti, who are no use. So why just not buy? He's a proven goal scorer.
I think Celtic are entitled not to pay £10 million for Maspanisi. They're entitled to run their business properly. But yes, they should be interested in Maspanisi, John. But I get the distinct impression that Martin O'Neill looked at him 2 weeks ago at Fir Park and decided Maspanisi was not for Celtic.
He's up to 18 for the season for club. He's got another one for country. That translates to 13 in the league, which makes him 2 ahead of Benjamin Nygren and Lawrence Shankland as top scorers. He missed a bit being away at AFCON. Doesn't always play through the middle either. And John says, look, I never know exactly how this works. I don't know if you can add on loads because he gets a double against Livy. You know, is he worth that much more on Saturday night than he was on Saturday morning? I don't quite know, but surely got to be in quite demand.
Yeah, of course he is. I'm astonished that Celtic or Rangers haven't come in there and made a bid for him. At least test the water, see what he's got to cost you, because he can play through middle, he can get goals, he can play off the wide area, he's brilliant off of there as well. He's an all-round very good footballer, but unfortunately for Celtic, doesn't matter if it's Maswanisi or anybody, they've left it that late in the transfer window. They've got to pay over the odds because people know they're desperate now. So whether it's a club that say, right, okay, well, even a loan, the loan fee will be sky high. The player, if he's coming in and getting bought, the fee will be a lot more. The player's wages will be a lot more. They've left themselves open.
For club and country, Cammy, he's got 7 goals in his last 6 games. So in terms of the timing to whip up a bit of hype around the January window, it could not have been better. He scored on the 29th of December for Zimbabwe, came straight back in the very next game, scored against St Mirren, and he scored every game since Hibs, County, Kilmarnock, and a double against Livy today.
Yeah, red hot form, and as you say, probably difficult for Motherwell. You obviously want him to continue that form because you're scoring goals that win you games of football, but again, you're in the January transfer window. But yeah, I'm with Daz. I'm amazed that nobody has came in and tried to take him away because his numbers are incredible. Again, he's played I think 21 games in the league and scored 13 goals. So the goal return's very, very good. Celtic, for me, should be looking at him. Whether that's 4 or 5 million and testing the water. Motherwell might not even sell at that price, but again, I think I would be surprised if nobody does test the water between now and tomorrow.
But Celtic,
Monday,
Celtic have looked at him. Martin O'Neill went there with Mark Fotheringham, went to Fir Park.
Also, I know that the world's a small place now because of analytics and Y-Scout and all the ways that you can watch players, but also one that doesn't take any watching, if that makes sense. Like you would still go through your normal procedures. No, but I just mean he's under your nose. I think that's why everyone's maybe
there's
a bit stronger about
speculation today about Celtic and an Armenian forward. This guy Masmanisi is down the road from Celtic Park. I mean, it plays in this league and is the top goal scorer in this league. If they have looked at him and decided no, he's not for us, then fair enough. Martin O'Neill must be allowed to manage, but it would be a surprising one if they had rejected him.
It looks rejected, but looks like it's not one they wanted to pursue yet. Gordon, I'm going to have to do it and stick up. What about the excitement that might be around what he and Motherwell can achieve if he stays there for the end of the season?
Oh, listen, he must be looking forward to midweek already. He must be looking forward to the next game. He's a player. It's so much. He's got so much confidence. He knows he's banging in goals. He knows that teams will be sitting up and looking at him, whether they come in and decide to try and take him in this window. But I'm sure everyone concerned at Motherwell won't want to let him go because this is a big, big season for Motherwell. They've got Aberdeen in the Cup next week at Pittodrie. Okay, people say, that'll be a difficult game. The way Motherwell are playing, clean sheets, scoring goals, Motherwell go up there as favourites for me, and it's been a long while since I've said that. So I think that Motherwell will be desperate to hold on, but they're in a great position, Gordon, because if a Celtic do come calling now, the fee's only going to go up.
It's inflated.
Exactly.
John, you, whether it's Maswanisi or anyone else, where are your confidence levels that Celtic can get some good business done in the next 2 days?
I would say about 30%. I keep going on about God will remember what Maswanisi and the goalkeeper has told them Schmeichel was done there again, and 2 goals. He never even moved for the 2 goals, but we're playing catch up to win the league. This guy's proven goal scorer. He's proven it. I don't understand why they're not signing it. It's staring him right in the face.
This came up on. Sorry, I was going to say to the goalkeeper in the room, John, this came up on last night's show as well, Cammy, that there might be a debate to be had around Kasper Schmeichel, but if we're talking about 2 days to go, and we're talking about scrambling, and we're talking about Sean Maloney mentioning, was it as many as 3? Was it 3 more over the next 2 days?
He said 3.
Whether Kasper Schmeichel is playing well or not, it's hard to see that as a priority just now, isn't it? Just where everything is.
Listen, they're not looking at the goalkeeping department at this moment in time. Yes, I get the question marks over Kasper, and this season he's been a little bit inconsistent, but listen, he's had brilliant moments as well. Again, reflect back to the Falkirk game, probably got them the points there on that day, big saves, big moments. Yes, I probably would think he could probably look at himself and think he could do better for the second goal on Thursday night. But it's certainly not a priority for Celtic. Celtic need a goal scorer in the building. If they want to win this title this season, they need a goal scorer in the building, and that's why I'm so surprised. Sorry to go back on Maswanisi, that again, his age, his profile, his goal scoring record, everything for me points to a good signing for Celtic. If they can get him doing that at Celtic, scoring the goals that he does in the league, scoring goals in Europe, his price goes double what they pay for him.
Thank you to John. What about Barry, who's in Coatbridge? How are you, Barry?
I'm alright, guys. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you for asking. What's your take on all this then?
I just think the board are acting as if it's some kind of magic show that the players are just got to just turn up and that'll be it. But no, it's like as if they're running it like a dog and pony show as well. Just the same. I mean, one player in on loan is scandalous.
Yeah, I mean, two loans earlier on in the window. Like Sean Maloney did his best to stick up a bit for the board as well, Hugh. He said it's not all the board. He said we've got a job as well to talk to players and convince them that the footballing project is right. He said that, you know, some of that stuff's ready to go. Like I said earlier, that it looks like there is a willingness to spend and not just of loans, but none of this really matters. It's all about the outcome, isn't it? You know, come the window, nobody cares what the circumstances were. It's just what you end up with.
I think in the last year, the decline in Celtic squad has been awful from their perspective. They had a very good team, which is now a very ordinary team. The real quality has been drained out of the side. Each successive transfer window sees a further decline. Their judgment of players is hit or miss. And recently, you know, the £10 million on Tenekte and the Balakwisha is, for me, a total embarrassment for the club.
At least Tenetke plays though, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility he could get better. Right, Balakwisha can't even contribute to a matchday squad at times, so that's a real issue.
But for the supporters, the general decline at Celtic is, from their perspective, awful to behold. And my contention is that Dermot Desmond has taken Celtic as far as he can. It just doesn't work now for Dermot Desmond or for the Celtic board. They don't even have a permanent chairman following Peter Lawwell's departure.
Going to throw your hat in the ring?
I don't think I would get it.
Imagine that campaign we could start on his behalf.
But I
with
honestly,
that moustache.
well, I could be beside Dermot with his moustache. But I think Dermot Desmond's gone as far as he can. Celtic are being left behind, and Rangers have overtaken them in terms of points in the league table. And Rangers are bringing in players 3 at a time. And if the money it's eventually paid for Skov Olsen. They will have paid the best part of 17 million for those 3 players, and they're rejecting big offers for others like Gassama and Chamiti. Celtic are on the verge of being left behind by Rangers, and Hearts are recruiting players more often and with better accuracy than Celtic. They are a club who, without Martin O'Neill, would be in dire trouble right now.
The good thing is we do only now have 2 days to wait, so we'll know, Cammy. Celtic have brought in 2, Rangers have brought in 3. It's not like that's a million, but however, I take Hugh's point, some of them have been transfer fees and it's building to the future, but maybe Celtic can't do that because they don't have a permanent manager in place. So you can only really judge the business at the end. It's just more you can understand why Celtic fans don't have a huge belief right now that changes in 2 days' time. There was one last night, but generally speaking.
Yeah, listen, the belief's not there because they've needed a striker for so long and they've not managed to get them. Yes, they've brought a striker in on loan, I get that, but it's not the striker that the Celtic fans are looking for. And certainly wasn't the name that they were looking for. He might come and do a job, he might be successful between now and the end of the season. Listen, that we'll all see what happens between now and then, but yeah, I think that the fans have lost faith in the board with regards to bringing in players that they want, and it's just they keep leaving themselves in, Daz said it before, they're left themselves in a situation that they have now got 2 days of the window left. They're going to pay over the odds. They've done this with Adam Ida. They're going to pay over the odds because they've left themselves in a situation where they're desperate.
Barry, the previous caller, your fellow Celtic fan, said he was 30% confident that they would get good business done. How do you feel?
I don't think you'll get any good business done. I'm actually surprised if they actually do any more business over the next coming days. But I reckon the board will come round and say, will come out with a statement and say, well, this squad's good enough to go through to the next round to play off the Europa League. That's what the excuse will be.
Well, we will see. Let's hear a bit from the Motherwell manager. Jens Bertel Askew covered obviously the fact that they beat Livingston 2-0 today and really strengthens their place in the league, continues their good defensive record as well. But if it's on everybody else's lips, it will be on his as well. Of course, was asked about Tawanda Maswanisi.
No, it's going to add value to him and to the team and the club, and will probably make you guys a little bit more busy about writing about him going all sorts of places. But we have a game on Wednesday, and that's what we're going to prepare for. We have some business we're looking at to do, and it doesn't really involve him. So. Yeah.
You've always said that he's not for sale. You don't want to sell him. Do you see that changing?
No, I never said he wasn't for sale, but I said that we don't have a plan for selling him now, and that's the plan we're following. So eventually he is for sale. It's just not now because he's still adding value to us. He's only been here for a short while, and I think he would love to be a top scorer of the league. I think you can see that out there, and the best opportunity to do that is staying with us until the summer, and then we'll see what happens there.
My interpretation of those words is that Jens has been assured that Maswanisi is not leaving Motherwell in this window, and he rightly underlined his position that he never said he was not for sale, but not now. And I think, having heard him say those words, I think Maswanisi will be a Motherwell player when they play their game on Wednesday night.
I'll tell you what, it's very hard to argue with him when he comes out with the comment at the end there. I was very interested in that and saying, look, he wants to be the top scorer in the league, and if he stays here, he's got a great chance of doing that. And where you would think, if he goes to one of the big two, the chances he make. But I think he's right. The way they're playing, the chances he fits into the model of the team, Gordon. He's absolutely brilliant. He's banging in goals. He's right. They've no plans in selling him. Of course they've not. But if a massive offer comes in, he's like everybody else. He's got his price.
Okay, Gary's a Rangers fan, and he is coming up when we return.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Gary has been hanging on the line patiently, so let's bring him in from Bathgate. Take it away, Gary.
Hi, Gordon.
Hello.
Yeah, aye. What it is,
Rangers have put in 3 bids for this player out in Germany, the 3rd division, right? All their bids have been knocked back. Why do they not just go to Motherwell and say, there's 7 million and gives that Marcevisi?
This is the thing. This is where, because none of us know exact fees and what it would take, and we can all speculate, that right now is not like for like. We throw money at, we're talking as if we're dealing in single pounds here rather than millions of pounds. The rough ballpark for Nadiri just now is 3 million. And Gary says just go and spend 7. That's 7 million's a lot more than 3 million.
When Gary said they've made 3 bids for him and nothing's up, well, make a 4th. And I think that's what Rangers will do, because he appears to be Danny Rule's preferred option. And I don't know whether Danny Rule, what his opinion is of Maswanisi, but he appears, the Hansa Rostock player appears to be the one that he wants. And I think Rangers, over the next 48 hours, will make the 4th bid, because he's the one that Danny Rule clearly wants.
Gary, just going to ask Gary, sorry Gordon, quickly. Gary, can Rangers win the title without a new striker, or do they need one?
They need one. Tavernier's the top goal scorer.
Yeah, you've got Majorski in 8, but you scored 3 obviously against Annan in the Cup, right? But
are we discounting goals against your Annan now?
No, but you've still got to score them. But you'd imagine a striker of Rangers, you should be scoring goals against Annan at Ibrox, no disrespect. But Chermiti's on something like 4. The centre half, Fernandes, is on more goals. A centre half at 5. So yeah, it tells me that they need a goal scorer in there. What baffles me right now is this is an open race, and Rangers are very much in this race, right? Let's not be kidded. You go and get a guy, now you're talking about, you're bidding for foreign players, Germany, that come over here, they don't know the league, they don't know anything about it, they could hit the ground running and be brilliant, or they couldn't. You've got a guy in your own backyard that's banging in goals for fun, knows how to play in the league, knows how to play against every team in the league. So for the importance of this league from now to the end of the season, I think if you have to pay a little bit over odds, okay, I'm not with Gary here going for 3 million to 7, but if you have to pay a little bit over the odds, I think you limit your risk by going and picking up a guy that's scored 18 goals so far. It's incredible.
100%. Again, if it's 5 million, they test the water with Motherwell with 5 million. Put the bid in there to see where they're at. This is a guy that's 23-year-old. He's only going to get better. We're not buying a guy that's 28, 29 and is at his peak. Maswanisi is going to get better. If he goes to Celtic or Rangers, he's going to improve. And again, what I spoke about before, when he goes to these clubs, the value of him, if he does well at the club, goes sky high. They can double that value quite easily. So I just think it's an absolute no-brainer for one of them to go and get him.
For one of them. It's been a while since we had a proper debate about Kieran Bowie. Threatened at times, but never really. We've got both sets of fans in Glasgow after the same player in our league. And with that in mind, let's thank Gary and move to Andy, who's back on the other side. Andy, what do you think from a Celtic perspective?
Hi, Gordon. I was just about said everything. I was just about
No. You can do it better than him.
Thank you very much. I'll tell you my thought. Right, obviously Tisdale left. Celtic haven't replaced that post, right? So therefore, there's a vacancy at the club in terms of technical drive, whatever that post is called, right? So whatever happens with Celtic, they're going to sign players, and if the player doesn't work, the cries will be who signed them, who vetoed that, la la la. If you want to sign something that's tried and tested, what Gordon Dale just said there is that you pick the top goal scorer in your league. I mean, there's been suggestions that you pay a wee bit over the odds, but so be it. That's Celtic have sold players over the odds over the years, and as Cammy just said there, if we can develop the boy even further, you get the money. But here's the thing for me, I just wish that we would, and I know that this is how clubs operate. The Scottish football in Europe it's went really. It's as bad as it's been, put it that way. You look at the three teams finished in the league tables of the European football. If the money gets spent in Scotland, firstly it'll get reinvested, right? And the more it gets reinvested, it makes the league better. But that's no Celtic or Rangers or anybody else's thought. But here's a thought that I've got, right? See what the guys think of this. Celtic are strongly linked with a boy for Serie B, right, for £6.5 million. A Serie A team just came in and paid £6 million for Kieran Bowie. I mean, if this boy's worth £6.5 million and he's a decent enough right winger or striker, whatever he is, why would a Serie A team not be in for him?
Well, you would think, if there was someone in the Championship here who was setting the place on fire, you would think that a Premiership club would be interested.
I'm still never sure if that's a way to stick to beat a player with. There's so many factors going to a transfer and different markets, and I don't know.
I think Celtic,
you would be able to see that loads of times, surely.
We all play amateur detective during the transfer window. I am suspicious of the player from Serie B at that money. I do agree with Andy. I just think I'm not sure about that.
It's just though, I'm not saying they will do it, and I know the recent record's been ropey, but everybody's trying to find gems just at different levels. It's a bit like, why are Hearts signing a guy for the Slovakian league in Kaiseridis? Why is nobody else looking at him? I mean, that's just the point. You're just hoping you get somebody that turns out to
values,
be good.
Though, again, I would say that it's a risk when you're paying 3.5 million. That's different from paying 500 grand.
Oh, it's more than that. This guy's going to be 7.
So that's what I'm saying. So the values are completely different. I think when you're signing guys for 6-7 million, even down to 3 million, they've got to come in and impact. And again, that's why I go back to Motherwell striker Masbonisi. He's doing it in this league. The risks are so low that, again, that's going to fail. That's going to be, he's not going to get goals. I think if he goes to any Old Firm team, he's got to score goals. So I just think,
But you know what adds to that for me, right?
What if Motherwell are more creative than either of them?
Potentially,
There's two things there, right? Masbonisi might be looking to think, no, if I keep going the way I'm going, I'll get to move to England. People like to do that, right? But if it is a case of Celtic, the thing for me is quite simple. He scores goals as centre forward. If you bring a player in that can play wide and still give you the same performance, it's a brilliant bit of business. You look at Maeda, for instance, right? Last year when he won every single trophy going, Player of the Year in Scotland, scored all those goals. He started left winger. He went in, played centre forward. So it was brilliant for Celtic to have that. There's a guy in their doorstep can do the exact same thing.
And at a time when Celtic want a right winger and a striker. So you feel like it fits.
100%.
Let me put another scenario to you. If Hearts win tonight at Dundee United, they'll go 9 points ahead of Celtic. Martin O'Neill said before the game at Tynecastle last weekend that if Hearts went 9 points ahead of Celtic, it'd be a long way back, which is manager speak for we're done. So the pressure on Celtic tomorrow, if Hearts win tonight, will be immense, because never mind the last day of the transfer window. If Celtic don't get all 3 points, if Hearts win tonight and Celtic don't get all 3 points tomorrow, league's finished.
Well, we're going to have a big couple of days ahead before we even get to the closing of the window, by the sounds of it. Big games to take place tonight and tomorrow. Flip that on its head. Maybe Dundee United do a number on Hearts, and maybe things are all back up in the mix tomorrow. Thank you to Andy on the line. One of the unsuccessful stories of today clearly is Aberdeen. Let's hear from interim manager Peter Leven.
Yeah, it's been a kind of the season so far, isn't it? Inconsistency. I just thought they wanted it more than us, and that's really hard for me to say sitting here as interim manager of Aberdeen Football Club. But it's a tough one to swallow. The first, second balls were all over us, winning challenges, and we just couldn't deal with it. But we said it during the week. I said, listen, we can't go there and play pretty football. We've got to win the battle first. You got to match their runs, match their intensity, then bring your football. But we seem to get it the other way around.
How is Big Man?
He's awake and he's in hospital, that's all I know just now.
Does he still land?
I think so, I'm not sure.
I mean, that's good in a sense. Like, I don't know, is it he's awake and he's in hospital? Hopefully everything continues to recover in the right direction. The first bit of it, it's always worry. See, when people start on about, lack of fight and stuff like that, it's always a worry, isn't it?
No, he said beaten man. And he's aware of the fact that the club are all over the place. The team's all over the place. If Mother will go there next Saturday night and remove the one vestige of positivity that Aberdeen have, in other words, they might as well go into the boardroom and take the Scottish Cup back down the road and hand it into the SFA. At that point, the roof comes off Pittodrie, because they are in a bad way.
I agree. I don't think they're in a good place at all. You could hear it in Peter Levine's voice there. I watched them. Yeah, they had a good result against Livingston, right? But everybody's beating Livingston just now. I'm a wee bit like Hugh. I think they've lost their identity, their character, everything about. They've got fantastic support. They're a big club. They're a very good club that pay big money. But at this moment in time, it just ain't happening for them.
Right, it's going to have to be a whistle-stop tour. You can take one each, Cammy. First of all, is tonight, Dundee United against Hearts. I don't think the pitch will be in great nick, but it looks like it's going to be on. Sum that up for us, and who you think will win to finish?
I'm going to go a draw in that game, actually.
Right.
I agree with Cammy. Draw.
Wow. So title race definitely intensifies tomorrow then.
I was going to go a draw as well.
Wow. Interesting.
So I'm not, because I've heard it too. So I'll go an away win.
A man of no integrity whatsoever.
Well, I've heard you two, and you
played for Hibs and Rangers. Hibs don't have a decent record recently.
No.
But then back to that thing, are they due a result against them? The Derby performance was good. They were good at home against Motherwell. Not so good last week. But what do you see there?
Not so good against Dunfermline, not so good against Falkirk. So I'm going to say Rangers will go there and win.
Hibs have played Rangers 3 times this season with Kieran Bowie and not scored a single goal.
Maybe their new signings are dynamite though.
And maybe tomorrow will be Tuesday. Rangers to win away.
I agree, Rangers for me.
And Falkirk deserve everybody's confidence and everybody's praise. Just look at the way they're going about their business. John McGlynn, some of those players, they didn't really lay a glove on Celtic last time they went there though. I don't know if is that a sign of anything.
No, it's too, I think that's too difficult. I think that obviously if Hearts go and win tonight, that added pressure that Celtic need to keep that gap to 6 rather than 9, a home advantage after a fantastic result on Thursday night and a great performance as well, got to say. No, we're disappointed losing 2 goals, but I think they'll have too much for Falkirk.
Home win for me.
I think Celtic defensively are a worry. There's no Austin Trusty, so that's a worry for them. But I think up front they have Iheanacho coming back, they have Švaranka, and I think they will win.
Well, what a time it's going to be in Scottish football over the coming days. You're not going to be able to take your eyes or your ears off it. Hearts tonight, as the guys have alluded to. The 2 big games tomorrow, and then transfer deadline day on Monday. So thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you as always, whether that was just listening away quietly or you called or sent a message in. We appreciate it all the same. Back tomorrow, Andrew McLean is 4 until 7. Big day in the league. Final stretch towards deadline day, and then Monday is when we find out who's done good business, who hasn't, and what that means for the rest of this season. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. The GBX is up next.